Chapter 73. Gao He is a very typical Qilu man. He is 1.95 meters tall. He is the main center of the computing department basketball team. He is straightforward and generous. He has a good temper and is easy to get along with. He looks a little mature. Gao He sleeps in Lu Chen's lower bunk. On the way to the dormitory, Lu Chen asked, "Where's sister-in-law? Are they back yet?" Gao He's girlfriend Wang Xiaoling is in the same Chinese department. She is petite and exquisite. They are often called Beauty and the Beast together. When she was a freshman, she held hands with Gao He. However, Gao He looked gloomy and said, "Split." Lu Chen was shocked. What's going on? For Wang Xiaoling and Gao He to fall in love, Lu Chen could be regarded as half a matchmaker. He knew that the relationship between the two had always been good. Although graduation season was the breakup season in college, Lu Chen thought they could continue. Gao He said with a wry smile, "I found a job in G City. Wang Xiaoling wants to stay in Hangzhou. You know the current housing price in Hangzhou. The money to buy a bathroom is enough for me to buy a suite at home, and my parents also need me to take care of them." Lu Chen was silent. Hangzhou's economy had been developing very fast in the past 10 years. While it had brought prosperity, it had also brought high prices. In particular, the housing prices had been rising steadily, and their increase had always been among the highest in the country. It was basically an extravagant hope for ordinary working-class people to buy a house here. Gao He's family is ordinary, and he is also the only son in his family. The love in college can't beat the reality after all. He could only pat Gao He on the shoulder to comfort him. On the contrary, Gao He was very open-minded and said, "I'm fine. I've been mentally prepared for this for a long time. Third brother, how are you doing in the capital? Have you found a new girlfriend?" Lu Chen smiled and said, "It's not bad. I was lucky enough to earn some money. As for a girlfriend, I don't want to think about it for now." Gao He knew the situation of Lu Chen's family and was happy for him. "Are you planning to develop in Beijing for a long time?" Lu Chen nodded. "Yes. Come to Beijing to find me when you're free. G City is very close to Beijing." Gao He smiled and said, "When you become a local tyrant, then I will definitely lead a team to fight against local tyrants." Lu Chen laughed. As they chatted and laughed, the two arrived at the university dormitory. The door of the 405 dormitory was half open. Gao He guessed, "It must be old K and old C coming back." He pushed the door open and shouted, "The police are checking the room." Sure enough, there were already two people in the dormitory. One was lying on the bed playing with his phone, and the other was sitting at the table playing games. The two were shocked by Gao He's beast-like roar. Lu Chen followed them in. "This is a robbery. Please hand over your bank cards, transportation cards, and meal cards." The one who played with the phone was Old K, whose real name was Wan Hongji. He was from Xiangbei, and he was the second oldest among his 4 roommates. However, he couldn't accept the term second oldest, so he changed it to Old K, the second in the playing cards. Zhou Rui Laoxi, who was playing computer games, was a native of Hangzhou. He was thin and small, and had an unattractive appearance. After being frightened, he wanted to cry but had no tears. "Boss, the boss is going berserk. It's going berserk." He had been in a party to fight the boss. He had lost control of the rhythm of the battle, and had instantly sent the boss into a berserk state. And then the whole team was annihilated. Gao He, Lu Chen, and Wan Hongji laughed. Zhou Rui was scolded by his teammates. He could only vent his anger on his 3 friends. "You wait." Lu Chen was just about to speak when the phone in his pocket rang. He picked it up and heard that it was Chao Xiuzhu who called. "Lu Chen, have you returned to school?" Lu Chen smiled and said, "I just came back. What instructions does the class monitor have?" Chao Xiuzhu said, "It's good that you're back. Are you ready for the program? Tomorrow night's graduation party has been arranged. Don't drop the ball for me." Lu Chen said, "You can rest assured that I will do things. We can cheat others, but we can't cheat our class monitor." Chao Xiuzhu smiled and said, "You went to Beijing to learn to be poor. Well, that's it." After hanging up the phone, Gao He asked curiously, "Why is the class monitor looking for you?" Lu Chen explained, "Tomorrow night's graduation party. Let me perform on stage." Wan Hongji said with emotion. It used to be a New Year's party. Now it's a graduation party. Time flies. Time is ruthless, and the days in the ivory tower always pass quickly. Many good things can only be left in memory. The 405 dormitory fell into a brief silence. Gao He asked, Old K, Old C, what are your plans after graduation? Wan Hongji said, I know a senior brother who opened an IT company in Huhai and asked me to help him. I want to learn more things there, and then if there is a chance I may emigrate. Among the four, Wan Hongji's academic performance is the best. It has always been his dream to go abroad through technical immigration. As for Zhou Rui, after graduation, I will go to the game department of Fading Company. I have already signed a contract. Although he wanted to speak calmly, he couldn't hide the sense of pride in his voice. Gao He wanted to beat someone. Damn Fading Company. Lu Chen smiled and said, Congratulations. Fading Company is one of the top 3 internet companies in China. The famous Yibao and Yafubao are under its banner. In addition, the game department is very strong. It has self-produced and acted as an agent for many popular online games. The key is that Fading Company is a local company in Hangzhou, and the treatment has always been one of the best in the industry. Zhou Rui is from Hangzhou. Of course, it is worth celebrating that he can work in Fading Company. Wan Hongji cried, You have to treat me tonight. Zhou Rui hummed and said, I have no problem treating you. If you are not drunk, you pay. Gao He patted his chest and said, Drink with me, don't go home until you are drunk. Lu Chen stood up and said, Let's go to the old tavern. The old tavern is a long-established tavern. It is separated from Zhanghai University by a civic square. It is said to have a history of hundreds of years. It is famous for its cheap and delicious dishes. Many students like to go there to have a sumptuous meal. Because the business of the old tavern is excellent, there will be no seats if they go late. The 4 people of the 405 dormitory rushed over before the mealtime and finally occupied a table by the window. They ordered a few special dishes and then beer. A box of Jiangqiao beer, which cost 2 yuan a bottle, was placed on the ground. There was no need for a glass. They opened the lid and directly drank from the bottle. After drinking 2 bottles, they began to drink water. They chatted about life and talked about the past period of their youth. Lu Chen drank 1 bottle after another. He drank more and talked less. Most of the time, he listened to his roommates talking about the girls in the next class, talking about the new counselors and female teachers, talking about the unattainable junior sisters, talking about their expectations for the future. The alcohol drowned his body a little bit, but it made his mood more relaxed than ever. Unfortunately, there is no banquet that never ends. After graduation, everyone will go their separate ways. The next time they meet may be at someone's wedding. At that time, when they recall this period of time, they will no longer have the same mood. A box of 12 bottles of beer. The 4 people of the 405 dormitory drank 4 boxes. From 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, Zhou Rui and Wan Hongji went to the bathroom to vomit twice. He couldn't drink anymore. Zhou Rui struggled to pay the bill, and then was helped out of the old tavern by Gao He. Lu Chen and Wan Hongji could barely walk by themselves, but they couldn't walk in a straight line. So they supported each other and walked into the civic square. Although it was not a weekend, the civic square was still very lively. Uncles and aunts were dancing in the square, children were playing on roller skates, and couples were wandering together. In the wind of a summer night, who is singing a sad love song? Pedestrians in 2s and 3s were surrounding a wandering singer, listening to him sing an old song from the past. Son of a bitch. Gao He scolded. His singing is too bad, it's not as good as Old San's singing. Old San, you go and PK him. He was the best drinker. He drank 1.5 of the 4 boxes of beer, but he was also a little drunk. Zhou Rui shouted. Sing, you must sing. Sing 2 more bottles. Lu Chen was drunk and said, I'll sing. He shook off Wan Hongji, strode forward and asked the wandering singer, Friend, can I borrow your guitar in the venue? I'll sing a song for my brother. The wandering singer readily handed the guitar to Lu Chen. No problem. Thank you. Lu Chen took the guitar and skillfully strummed the steel strings with his fingers to test the sound. The guitar was a very ordinary guitar, the tone was basically accurate, and it was connected to a self-power speaker connected to a microphone. It was a very standard street singing equipment. Chapter 74. Facing the dusty microphone, Lu Chun let out a long breath of alcohol. He said, I want to sing this song first of all to Gao He, our dormitory boss Gao. I hope he will always be so optimistic and open-minded. And then to all the people who have ever had ideals and dreams. Drunk, Lu Chun actually has a lot of words in his heart, but he doesn't want to say them, so he just sings. This song is for Gao He, for his friends, for everyone, and for himself. Good. Both Gao He and Wan Hongji applauded loudly. They didn't care what Lu Chun sang and whether he sang well or not. They just wanted to cry and laugh heartily, and spend the last period of time before graduation. Tian. Lu Chun is a good singer. Many people in the public square noticed the movement here and came around to watch the excitement. Several of them were students of Zhonghai University, pointing at Lu Chun and laughing. Which senior brother is drunk and messing around here? Lu Chun doesn't care. He played the guitar and began to sing along with the rhythm. Once dreamed of walking the world with a sword, seeing the prosperity of the world. The young heart is always a little frivolous. Now you are at home in the world. The girl who once made you feel sorry, now she has disappeared quietly. Love always makes you yearn and feel annoyed. Once made you bruised all over. Oh. The drunk Lu Chen's singing is no longer so clear and clean, with a trace of sadness and vicissitudes of life. Low and contains the power of the soul cry, which instantly attracted the ears of the people present. This is a song they have never heard before. Gao He didn't laugh anymore because he was not drunk enough to hear the lyrics. Lu Chen's singing seems to be like a sledgehammer cast in copper and iron, hitting his heart again and again, making the nearly 2-meter-tall man bow and tremble involuntarily. The girl who once made you feel sorry, now she has disappeared quietly. Love always makes you yearn and feel annoyed, once made you bruised all over. Isn't it singing about him? The next moment, the singing suddenly became high-pitched and high-spirited. Dillalilladillalidadata, 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 walking on the road of courage. Dillalilladillalidadata, dillalilladillalidadata, dillalilladillalidadata. There was sadness and excitement. More and more people were attracted by the singing. At first, there were only a dozen or so people surrounding the area. Soon, there were hundreds of people, forming a large circle on the square. Lu Chun turned a blind eye to it. His mind was completely immersed in the mood of the song, expressing all the accumulated emotions through the song. Every moment of sadness, just to look at the sea alone. I always think of my friends who are walking by my side. How many are waking up? Let us drink this cup of wine. A good man's heart is like the sea. Having experienced the vicissitudes of life, the warmth and coldness of the world, the smile was warm and innocent. The huge square seemed to have become a stage for Lu Chun alone. All the clamor and noise had disappeared. Only his singing was reverberating, impacting and shocking. Although he was holding a broken guitar worth hundreds of yuan in his arms, although he was facing a stained old microphone, although the quality of the amplifier was not good, but these do not damage the charm of this song. It is a memorial to the memory of youth, and a declaration of no regrets for the past time. When it crosses the barrier of space and appears in this world, it can still move everyone. Let us drink this cup of wine. A good man's heart is like the sea. He has experienced all kinds of life and the warmth and coldness of the world. Whether it was Gao He, Wan Hongji or Zhou Rui, they all had a smile on their faces. Especially Gao He. The breakup between him and Wang Xiaoling was like a thorn in his heart. Although he seemed to be laughing and laughing on the surface as if he didn't care at all, only he knew the pain in his heart. Lu Chen's song made him feel relieved. No matter how many regrets they have had, no matter what they have lost, they have had sincere friendship, love, and the best time on campus. A real man should have a heart like the sea, and be able to accommodate countless storms. When Lu Chun began to sing for the second time, the number of onlookers reached hundreds of people. Many people raised their mobile phones to take pictures of him, and more people listened quietly, until he finished singing. In an instant warm applause broke out quickly in the crowd, such as good singing, one more song, and so on, pushing the atmosphere of the scene to the climax. Many people took out the coins in their pockets and put them in the open guitar case on the ground. They all thought that Lu Chun was a wandering singer. Thank you everyone. Lu Chun bowed to thank them, and then returned the guitar to the real wandering singer next to him. "Thank you." The other party took the guitar in a daze. When Luchan turned and left, he woke up as if he had just woken up from a dream. He quickly asked, "Friend, what's the name of your song? Where can I download the score?" Luchan looked back and replied, "This song is called Once You. I wrote it myself." The wandering singer was stunned. He held his guitar and stared blankly at him as he walked away. "Old 3, when did you become so powerful?" On the way back to the dormitory, Gao He couldn't help but ask, "Did you really write this song yourself?" Although he doesn't understand pop music very well, he can hear that this is a really good song. It's hard to believe that it was written by Luchan himself. Luchan said frankly, "Yes, I make money by singing in Beijing." "Old 3 is really awesome," Wan Hongji said excitedly. "I think he is very suitable to be a star. He is handsome enough and he can sing and write songs." Zhou Rui cried, "Good, he sings really well. Shall we drink a few more bottles? He hasn't sobered up yet." Luchan and the other two laughed, dragged Zhou Rui back to the dormitory, and then fell asleep. This night Luchan has been dreaming. In his dream he returned to the familiar and strange world, like a ghost wandering in the world, like a passerby walking in the secular world, watching the end of prosperity, watching the joys and sorrows of separation and reunion. Sometimes he is Su Bo, sometimes he is Mo Ran, sometimes he is Fong Mingyi Chu. He doesn't know how much time has passed, but Luchan suddenly felt a strange itch in his nostrils, and he couldn't help but sneeze loudly, waking himself up. Luchan opened his eyes and the first thing he saw was a girl with a round face, round eyes and a smile. She was still holding the small brush that Wan Hongji used to practice calligraphy in her hand. Luchan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Class monitor Chao." Chao Shouju smiled and said, "I can't wake you guys up by calling. Get up and eat breakfast." Luchan looked down and didn't know where Gao He and the other two had gone. He sniffed and said, "Century egg lean meat porridge, bacon burger, well and fragrant soybean milk." Chao Shouju was shocked. "You can smell this?" She took a burger and porridge and handed it to Luchan. Luchan smiled and said, "You can go to KFC and work for a few months, you can smell it." "Thank you, class monitor." He was not polite. He turned over and took the breakfast, sat on the edge of Gao He's bed and ate directly. "Washing up and eating will be done later." Chao Shouju hesitated and sat down beside Luchan and said, "Luchan, Wang Ying asked me to ask you how are you doing recently. She said that her uncle's company in Hangzhou is recruiting people if you—" Chao Shouju deliberately sent Gao He and the other two away. She had something to say to Luchan alone. She always thought that Luchan and Wang Ying were a good match. No need. Luchan's appetite was gone in an instant. He put down the burger and said to Chao Shouju, "Class monitor, thank Wang Ying for me, but I have found a suitable job." Wang Ying was his ex-girlfriend. The two broke up after his father died. At that time this incident was a big blow to Luchan. Chao Shouju bit her lip and asked, "Do you still hate her?" It was Chao Shouju who introduced Wang Ying to Luchan. The breakup of the two made her feel guilty all the time. "Hate?" Luchan shook his head and said, "It's all in the past. I'm fine now. Really, I don't blame her. Just a passerby." Chao Shouju took a deep look at him and said, "Luchan, you have changed." Luchan smiled and said, "People always change. He used to be young and frivolous. Now he has experienced the upheaval of his family and the life of drifting ants in the capital. He also has the memories of the vicissitudes of 3 lives in his dream. He has really matured. The only thing that has not changed is perhaps the blood in his heart. How about you and your family? What are your plans after graduation?" He changed the topic and didn't want to talk about himself anymore. Chao Shouju replied, "We will stay in Hangzhou after graduation and get married after 2 years of stability. Congratulations." Luchan smiled and said, "Remember to invite me to your wedding at that time." There were tears and laughter. Life is always like this. Note: Once You lyrics/composer. Su Wei. Chapter 75. On June 9, 2015, the 2011 graduation ceremony of Zhonghai University was held in Heliang Great Auditorium. Heliangwei Auditorium was donated by Heliangwei, the richest man in Macau and a patriotic businessman. The whole building was built in a Chinese-style architectural style, with large-scale and advanced facilities. The seats on the upper and lower floors could accommodate 6,500 spectators. He Liangwei is a famous gambling king. He owns a 7-star Macau hotel and 3 luxury casinos. His business scope involves gambling, real estate, logistics, entertainment and other industries, with assets of more than 50 billion. The gambling king was born in a poor family. Before he finished high school, he ran to the street as a hawker selling fish eggs. Then, relying on his hard work and clever mind, he became an influential figure in Macau step by step, and became a legend in the modern metropolis. However, the most interesting thing is not his struggle experience, but the gambling king's boundless luck with women. He Liangwei is unattractive, but he has 7 wives. In addition to the original wife, the other 6 include 4 Australian misses and 2 Xiangjiang misses. He has a total of 19 children. He can be called a real winner in life. In his old age, He Liangwei is very enthusiastic about charity. Every year he donates more than 1 billion yuan in China, mainly to aid education and medical care. There are more than 100 buildings named after him, such as hospitals, libraries, auditoriums, laboratories, gymnasiums, and so on. He Liang Great Auditorium of Zhanghai University was completed 2 years ago, and ranks in the forefront of the similar buildings in domestic universities. At 9 a.m. the auditorium was already full. Lu Chan and Gao He were sitting in the back seat of the lower floor, surrounded by their classmates. Because there is a half-year social practice period in the senior year, many familiar students have not seen each other for a long time. Everyone was naturally very happy to reunite here, talking and laughing and greeting each other with concern. But thinking that they will go their separate ways after today, they can't help but feel sad and nostalgic. Lu Chen applied for social practice half a year in advance. It has been a year since he left school. Many students specially came to chat with him, asked him about his current situation and future plans, and also invited him to start a business together. Tian. Lu Chen's relationship in the university is still very good. Although not everyone likes him, there are many people who are willing to become friends with him. Of course, there are also people who don't like him. For example, the thin and tall young man who just came over had a teasing look on his face, and his tone was very annoying. Lu Chen, how are you doing in the capital? It's not easy living in Beijing, right? Do you earn enough money to eat? Zhang Jinping, no one will think you're a mute if you don't speak. Before Lu Chen could answer, Gao He was angry. He abruptly stood up and looked down at the other party. Are you itching for a beating again? The tall and thin young man took half a step back and said resentfully, Gao He, don't bite Lu Dongbin. I asked Lu Chen because I want to help him. Next month I will join EasyNet Company. Everyone is in Beijing so we can take care of each other. EasyNet is one of the top 10 web portals in the country, and is listed on NASDAQ in the United States. For the computer science graduates of Zhanghai University, it is undoubtedly a good choice for employment. Therefore, when this thin and tall young man called Zhang Jinping spoke, he did not conceal his pride. EasyNet Company? Isn't that a famous pig farm? Zhou Rui said in a strange tone. Well, that really suits you. The owner of EasyNet Company spent a lot of money 2 years ago to open a modern and green pig farm. It is said that he lost tens of millions of yuan, so netizens called EasyNet a pig farm, and it has another meaning. Both Gao He and Wan Hongji laughed. Lu Chen also laughed and said, Zhang Jinping, I appreciate your kindness, but you should go back to your seat. Zhang Jinping is also a computer science major, but he is not in the same class as Lu Chen. This guy once pursued Wang Ying, but he was defeated by Lu Chen and became one of the many losers. Later, Lu Chen's family changed, and he broke up with Wang Ying. Zhang Jinping was the one who gloated the most. He made a lot of sarcasm to Lu Chen, and always looked like a coward. He probably thought that today was the last chance to hit Lu Chen, so he deliberately came over to ridicule him. As a result, he was directly killed by Gao He and Zhou Rui, and he was also humiliated. Lu Chen will not be serious with the other party. When he was at his lowest, he didn't put Zhang Jinping in his eyes. Let alone now. Zhang Jinping still wanted to sneer at him, but when he saw Gao He's unkind eyes, he finally left resentfully. He was really beaten by Gao He before. What the hell? Zhou Rui said contemptuously. I heard that after Old San went to the capital, he also ran to chase Wang Ying. As a result, Wang Ying was too lazy to get rid of him. This time I don't know who helped him get into the pig farm. Zhanghai University is a key university in China. It has good exchanges with many well-known large enterprises. Every year, it will recommend a group of excellent graduates to these enterprises. Of course, those who can be recommended by the school are not necessarily the best students. Wan Hongji quietly pulled him, and Zhou Rui suddenly came to his senses and closed his mouth. In front of Lu Chen, don't mention Wang Ying. Lu Chen didn't care. He smiled and said, "Don't worry about him, the ceremony has begun." In the majestic music accompaniment, the 2011 graduation ceremony of Zhanghai University officially began. In the beginning, the school leaders gave a speech. The content was nothing more than recalling the past and looking forward to the future. After the leaders finished speaking, it was the speech of the representatives of the outstanding graduates. Everyone listened drowsily until the diplomas were handed out. Zhanghai University implemented a credit system. If you have enough credits, you can graduate. Lu Chen muddled along in his freshman and sophomore years. In his junior year, he worked hard to save enough credits for graduation. Otherwise, he would have to give up on getting a graduation certificate and go to the capital to work in the senior year. Lining up to take the heavy red certificate from the principal, Lu Chen could feel the weight of it. Although Lu Chen may not use this certificate in the future, it represents the past he once had. The happy, the sweet, the sad, the painful, the hard past. After receiving the graduation certificate and changing into a bachelor's robe, everyone ran to the lawn to take graduation photos. One for the computer science group, one for the classmates, one for the dormitory brothers. The continuous clicking sound, accompanied by laughter, formed the main melody in the university at this moment. Put aside the sadness of parting, please remember our college life. Don't forget 2015. At 7 o'clock in the evening, the graduation party was also held in Heliang Great Auditorium. Compared with the graduation ceremony during the day, the number of students who came to the graduation party was more. The auditorium with 6,500 seats had at least 8,000 plus people. Many of them stood in the aisles on both sides, and there were also some who sat together. Many people were not graduates of the 2011 class. They just came to watch the excitement and send off their seniors. The big stage for the performance was ready. The huge LED background screen constantly replayed the promotional video of Zhanghai University. As the music sounded, the lights were turned on, and the two hosts of the party appeared first. Respected leaders, respected teachers, respected guests and friends who care about the development of Zhanghai University. Good evening, all the students of Zhanghai University. First of all, let us use the warmest applause to say to the teachers who have paid countless efforts and sweat for our growth. Teachers, you have worked hard. With the cadence of the speech of the male and female hosts, Zhanghai University's 2015 graduation party officially began. Warm applause sounded in the auditorium, like a summer storm. Dancing the melody of youth, fluttering the notes of youth, igniting the boiling enthusiasm, burning our dream of flying. We gather with a beautiful vision, full of joy. We are melancholy because we are about to leave. We meet in this colorful and gorgeous season. The eyes are full of emerald, bowing to touch the new green. Dear teachers, dear students, when we hear the cicadas in the summer, we usher in the last moment of separation. Tonight, nearly 10,000 teachers and students have gathered here, bringing with them a different kind of mood. When the host showed his eloquence on the stage, Lu Chen quietly came to the backstage of the auditorium. Chapter 76. Zhanghai University's activities involving cultural performances are basically held in Heliang Great Auditorium. The scale of this auditorium is very large, and the backstage is also very spacious, with a director's room, dressing room, changing room, electronic room, props room, and even a shower room and a lounge. When Lu Chen came in, there were at least 100 or 200 people in the large dressing room, most of whom were students who were going to perform on stage. Many girls in beautiful costumes had put on makeup and gathered in twos and threes to chat and laugh. Lu Chen has participated in many cultural performances and is no stranger to the backstage of the auditorium. He found a seat in the corner and sat down calmly. He opened the guitar case and took out the guitar. While tuning, he practiced his hand. His performance in the evening is scheduled for 8:30, so it's still early. Lu Chan. Just as Lu Chan strummed the strings and hummed in a low voice, he suddenly heard a soft call from the side. Hearing this familiar voice, Lu Chan secretly sighed in his heart. He put down the guitar, turned around and asked, "Wang Ying, long time no see. What's the matter?" In front of Lu Chan is a girl in a white dress. She is about 160 meters tall and well-proportioned. She has an oval face and willow leaf eyebrows. She has long hair and thin makeup. She is quite an outstanding beauty. Wang Ying, who studied in the Chinese department of Zhonghai University, is also Lu Chen's ex-girlfriend. Lu Chen's indifferent tone made Wang Ying frown. She hesitated and asked, "Lu Chen, did Chao Xiuzhu tell you? My uncle's company in Hangzhou is recruiting people, and the position is very good." "I know, the class monitor has already told me." Lu Chen interrupted. "Thank you for your kindness, but I plan to develop in the capital, so thank you." Lu Chen. Wang Ying's eyes flashed a touch of displeasure, and her voice rose a notch. "Can you not be so stubborn? What future do you have in the capital? Even if you don't think for yourself, you have to consider the situation at home, right?" Her face showed an expression of exasperation at his failure to meet her expectations. Lu Chen smiled instead. "Wang Ying, it's been so long, but your temper hasn't changed? I don't think we have anything to talk about." Wang Ying was not angry. She asked thoughtfully, "Lu Chen, do you still hate me?" Lu Chen shook his head, got up and said to Wang Ying, "I used to hate him, but now I have figured it out. I think even if nothing happened to my family, I'm afraid the two of us wouldn't have been together for long. Plus I had my own problems back then, so no one needs to blame each other. When we meet again in the future, we'll still be classmates and friends." Wang Ying looked at Lu Chen in a daze. Such a rational and mature Lu Chen made her feel very unfamiliar, as if the person standing in front of her was another person. There is a sense of loss. After a while she said in a daze, "All right then, goodbye." After that, Wang Ying turned around and left, not very willing. Lu Chen smiled. He was very clear about Wang Ying's thoughts. It was nothing more than to make up for the guilt of breaking up with him. But he had nothing better to do. Staying in Hangzhou to get a very good job? As for the entanglement with Wang Ying, the past can't be recalled. Let the past be the past. Lu Chen just wanted to sit down again. Suddenly he felt something was wrong and subconsciously looked to the right. Just a few steps away from him, there was a beautiful woman with bright eyes and white teeth. The aqua blue evening gown perfectly accentuated her graceful figure. A pair of insanely straight long legs were casually swaying. Her bright and spirited eyes carried a faint smile, and her exquisite picturesque face was pleasing to the eyes. She sat there quietly, but the light she emitted was enough to illuminate the darkest corner. Lu Chen couldn't help but be stunned. Su Xian. Su Xian was a very famous figure at Zhonghai University. She was the department flower of the foreign languages department. She was a female top student who won a first-class scholarship every year. Moreover, she was versatile in singing and dancing. The number of pursuers was comparable to the number of carps crossing the river. Lu Chen knew Su Xian. Of course, there were not many people who didn't know her, but it was only limited to knowing her. He didn't expect that Su Xian would hide here alone. He didn't notice it just now. In Lu Chen's limited impression, Su Xian was always surrounded by a few attentive flower protectors. Su Xian blinked and said, "Lu Chen, I didn't mean to eavesdrop on you too." Lu Chen couldn't help laughing. "Sorry, there's nothing wonderful to disappoint you." Su Xian chuckled and immediately said, "To be honest, I feel that Wang Ying still has feelings for you." Lu Chen and Wang Ying, the couple who used to be in love, were also a little famous at Zhonghai University. "Maybe," Lu Chen said, "it's all in the past." Su Xian understood that he didn't want to talk more, so she changed the topic. "It must be very difficult for you to develop in the capital, right?" She rarely talked to boys because there were too many crazy bees and butterflies. It was really troublesome to say a few more words and cause others to misunderstand. Tonight, in order to avoid those pursuers, she deliberately ran to the corner of the backstage. As a result, she accidentally saw a dialogue between a former couple. Su Xian had heard a little gossip about Lu Chen before, and appreciated his performance just now. A man should have self-respect, self-improvement and self-confidence. so she didn't mind chatting with Luchan for a few more words. Anyway, everyone will go their separate ways tomorrow. Luchan smiled and said, "It's not easy. Takes a lot of effort. I hope I can succeed." He asked, "What are your plans after graduation?" This sentence was probably the most asked among the students today. Suxian said, "I'm going to Wharton Business School to study." Wharton! Luchan exclaimed. Amazing! Wharton Business School was the world's #1 business school. It was affiliated with the University of Pennsylvania in the United States. It had a history of hundreds of years and had trained countless business elites and economists. However, it was extremely difficult to enter Wharton Business School. Lu Chen's sister, Lu Shi, had longed for this famous school. But the reality was that her choice was still a domestic school like Beijing University or Tsinghua University. Su Xian was extremely beautiful, and her academic performance was so outstanding that Lu Chan couldn't help but admire her. Su Xian smiled and said, "Thank you. If you have the opportunity to come to Philadelphia in the future, remember to have tea with me." Lu Chan smiled bitterly and said, "I don't even have your contact information." Lu Chan didn't have the idea of pursuing her, because he and Su Xian were undoubtedly people from two different worlds. However, they had a good chat now, so he mentioned it casually. Su Xian was very generous and directly gave Lu Chan her QQ number. "Private number. Please don't give it to others." Lu Chan recorded it in his mobile phone. Su Xian got up and said, "It's almost my turn to go on stage. Goodbye, Lu Chan." Lu Chan also stood up and said, "Goodbye, Su Xian." He knew that the two probably wouldn't have many opportunities to see each other again. There was a touch of regret in his heart. Such a beautiful girl, even if they weren't a couple, it was a great fortune to be friends. Watching the figure of the other party disappear into the backstage, Lu Chan had just sat down when his buttocks just touched the surface of the chair. Chao Shouzhu, the class monitor Chao, ran over gasping for breath and complained when they met. "Lu Chan, why are you hiding here? It took me a while to find you." Lu Chan was surprised. "What's wrong?" Chao Shouzhu said, "Your performance has to be advanced. The 2 programs before you need time to prepare, so you are arranged to go on stage after the next program." Lu Chan said, "I'm going to faint." The university's gala was very random. Of course, large-scale programs had rehearsals and time arrangements in advance, but in case of an emergency, a solo program like his would have to go on stage. "Don't faint, I'm going to faint." Chao Shouzhu was anxious. "Hurry up and get ready. Do you want me to help you with makeup?" "No need, no need." Lu Chan quickly said, "Help me send this to the director's room first, and wait for me to play it on stage." He took out the USB from his pocket and handed it to Chao Shouzhu. As early as last month, Chao Shouzhu called Lu Chan and told him about Lu Chen's performance at the gala, so he made a music video early to accompany his performance. "No problem." Chao Shouzhu took the USB and hurried to the director's room. Lu Chan exhaled. He turned around and looked at himself in the mirror of the dressing table. "I have to work hard." Chapter 77. Girls in rainbow-colored feather dresses walked briskly down the stairs leading to the backstage like butterflies. The relatively narrow space was filled with the fragrance of cosmetics that could make people's heart beat faster. These beautiful girls had just finished a dance performance, and the applause in the auditorium had not yet subsided. They were talking and laughing, and the sweat on their foreheads was mixed with gold powder, shining under the light of the wall lamps. Lu Chan, with his guitar, politely turned sideways and pressed his back against the wooden wall to make way for them. Several girls looked at Lu Chan curiously and kept walking past him, leaving a string of silver bell-like laughter. On the stage outside, the host was announcing, "Thank you for the wonderful performance of the 24 beautiful girls just now. The next program is from the computer science application major, a male solo. His name is Lu Chan. Let's welcome him to the stage with applause." As soon as his voice fell, Lu Chan, who was already standing at the exit of the stage, immediately stepped forward and stood under the spotlight. Facing nearly 10,000 alumni and teachers at the scene, he showed a confident smile. After the baptism of the light blue music carnival, even in the face of a large audience, Lu Chan would not be nervous. He believed in his own song. Applause rang out. Although it wasn't very enthusiastic, many students still gave face to him. In particular, Lu Chen's classmates were desperately clapping their hands, and the loud whistling sound was very professional. Lu Chen was tall and handsome. His family used to be rich, but he did not have the kind of playboy of a rich family. Moreover, he was usually very willing to help others, so his popularity among his classmates has always been quite good. Many people knew about the changes in Lu Chen's family, and they also knew that he ran out early to work to make money. Their applause was their support and admiration for Lu Chen, because it was not easy to do what he did. In seat number 19 of the 37th row of Heliang Great Auditorium, Wang Ying raised her hand and clapped twice, then immediately put it down. She stared at Lu Chen standing in the center of the stage, and suddenly felt that the latter was very strange. The girl sitting next to Wang Ying quietly leaned over and asked in a low voice, "Why do you still miss him?" Wang Ying shook her head blankly. She didn't know what was wrong with her. They had broken up for so long, and the two of them had made it clear. But there was always an emotion lingering in his heart. The girl next door advised earnestly, "Don't think too much about it since we've already split up. What's the use of being handsome now? With your qualifications you can totally find someone better than him. For example, that Chan Peng is very good." Wang Ying frowned and said, "He and I have already passed, and I didn't think much about it." The girl next door chuckled and said, "That's right. For us girls, finding a suitable husband is the most important thing. It's so tiring to work hard in society. The housing prices in Hangzhou are so expensive. It's not worth it to suffer with a handsome guy." Wang Ying listened to it in one ear and out the other. She didn't know where her mind had drifted. At this moment, Lu Chen was speaking into the microphone and said, "Thank you for your applause. The song I'm going to sing here tonight is written by myself, and it's the first time I'm singing it in public. I'll give this song to all the girls, all the junior sisters and senior sisters, because it's because of you that Zhonghai University is a truly beautiful campus. I wish you will always be young and beautiful." There were countless laughter in the auditorium, and many girls applauded again, more enthusiastic applause. Most of the boys were envious, jealous, and hateful, and there was no lack of secretly cursing. Using original works to please girls? You're dreaming. If you don't sing well, you'll be booed off the stage. Let's see if you can act cool. Handsome guys, especially handsome guys who can play the guitar, are the most annoying. However, Lu Chen did not feel the resentment from the single people. He turned his head and gave a thumbs up to the director on the sidelines, indicating that he could start. After a while, the image of the new song's music video appeared on the huge screen behind Lu Chen. He gently plucked the strings and played the prelude, gently and softly. The first thing that appeared on the LED screen was the virtual scenery of Zhonghai University, and then the silhouettes of girls accompanied by sketched flowers quietly appeared, setting off the 4 hand-painted artistic words, "Those flowers. That laughter reminds me of my flowers, quietly blooming for me in every corner of my life. I thought I would always stay by her side. Today we've left in the vast sea of people. Are they all old? Where are they? Just like this we run to the ends of the world. La, miss her. La, is she still blooming? La, go. They've been blown away by the wind, scattered to the ends of the world. Oh, a touch of sadness, a touch of nostalgia, a low singing about the past." Lu Chen's playing was simple and concise, but the beautiful melody and lyrics made this song have the power to hit the heart. Especially those girls, they looked at the familiar or unfamiliar photos that appeared in the music video on the big screen. Those were the memories of their youth, those running, hugging, jumping, playing. The past reappeared in front of their eyes, happy, sad, sweet, excited. They were about to graduate, about to be blown away by the wind, scattered to the ends of the world. Some stories haven't been told yet, so let's forget it. Those feelings have been difficult to distinguish between true and false in the years. Now the weeds are overgrown here, and there are no flowers. Fortunately, I once had your spring and autumn, winter and summer. La, miss her. La, is she still blooming? La, go. They've been blown away by the wind, scattered to the ends of the world. Are they all old? Where are they? Just like this we run to the ends of the world. Oh. The auditorium, which can accommodate thousands of spectators, was very quiet. There was no applause, no laughter, no talking. Everyone was listening to Lu Chen singing. Some girls were already sobbing. The song aroused the romantic hope and the involuntary sadness in their hearts. Like dandelion flowers that bloomed unexpectedly in the right time and place, their souls seemed to be lost along with the fluttering flower catkins and could never be recovered. Luchan played and hummed, memories surged. The flower that left the most profound mark in his life was his senior sister, Wan. She appeared at the time when Luchan was at his lowest. At that time, his father had just passed away, and he broke up with Wang Ying. After experiencing great changes in his life, he was decadent and gloomy like a walking corpse. And Wan's appearance, like a bright sunshine, dispelled the darkness and haze in Lu Chen's heart. She used her tenderness to soothe Lu Chen's wounded heart, so that Lu Chen finally got rid of his depression and faced life again with a strong will. But Lu Chen couldn't keep Wan. After graduation, she emigrated to England with her family. Even Lu Chen's best friends didn't know about this relationship, and he didn't tell anyone. He had always suppressed it in his heart. Today he sang this song here precisely for Wan. Her photo was also in the MV, smiling brightly. Are they all old? Where are they? Just like this we run to the ends of the world. Oh! Unknowingly, Lu Chen's eyes were wet with tears. He had never sung so emotionally, and his voice was choked. In the audience, many girls had already burst into tears. They either sobbed alone, or hugged each other to comfort each other, wantonly venting the emotions that were aroused in their hearts. Wang Ying bit her lips, and the look in her eyes was extremely complicated. Intuition told her that this song of Lu Chen was sung for his most beloved person. That person was not her. She was also moved by the song, but when she thought of this, her heart seemed to be bitten by a poisonous snake. Strong jealousy and pain, as if she had lost her most cherished treasure. The picture of the MV was finally fixed on a photo. On a drizzling afternoon, in the depths of the old streets and alleys, the silhouette of a gentle and moving woman holding a paper umbrella. The dense water vapor made the lens hazy, and it was impossible to capture her true face. But that beauty, like an orchid in an empty valley, was destined to become one of the most profound memories of all the witnesses. Lu Chen finished singing. He straightened his chest and said to the microphone, "Those flowers thank you everyone." He wanted to thank all the flowers that appeared in his 22-year-old life. Because of their existence, life is wonderful. Note: Those Flowers lyrics/song. Pushu. Chapter 78. In Lu Chen's dream world, Those Flowers was a classic created by a talented singer. This low-key, beautiful and slightly sad folk song had touched countless people. It had been repeatedly sung by other singers and often appeared in school art parties. It could be called a graduation song. Although it was in a different space, the charm of this song did not fade in the slightest. It could easily evoke the feelings hidden deep in people's hearts, especially those who had loved, been in love, been hurt, and experienced the same parting. It naturally resonated strongly. So many girls were crying. The song was full of gentle memories and reverie, but in the end, it could not overcome the faint sorrow of parting. Just like that, we go our separate ways. And in Those Flowers, Lu Chen poured his most sincere feelings into it. He used this song to say goodbye to his youth in school. Those flowers thank you everyone. Lu Chen bowed deeply. The applause suddenly exploded, like artillery fire on a battlefield, fierce and lasting. Many girls stood up. Their eyes were filled with tears, and they clapped their delicate palms hard. Even if they were red and painful, they did not care. The boys also stood up. Their way of expressing their feelings was more direct, which was to shout loudly, "Well sung! Sing it again! One more song!" Soon, all the cheers and shouts turned into the simplest word, charge. Charge. Without experiencing the baptism of social reality, most of these boys and girls retained simple and sincere feelings. They liked it, they were touched, and they would not be stingy with their praise and applause. Lu Chen straightened up and nodded. "Thank you." He took a deep breath, then turned around and walked backstage. It was over. Charge! 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 However, the orderly shouting from below the stage did not disappear because of Lu Chen's departure. Instead, it became more intense and loud. That kind of high-spirited and surging momentum seemed to be able to overturn the dome of the auditorium. The man's voice was powerful, and the woman's voice was delicate. They completely merged into one voice. Charge! A few school leaders and teachers in the first 2 rows of the auditorium could no longer sit still. They stood up, turned around, and waved their arms to signal the students to quiet down and not disturb the performance. However, no one paid any attention to them. Their authority had already expired on graduation day. Many people looked at each other and did not know what to do. After all, it was rare for such a situation to occur in a school cultural performance. It was almost impossible to encounter such a situation. Even Lu Chun himself did not expect that. Just as he was about to walk down the stairs, the host of the evening party rushed over and stopped him. Lu Chun, come back and sing another song. The university students were all passionate and impulsive. If the atmosphere was not controlled, something big might happen. The host's face turned pale. All right. Lu Chun also realized the seriousness of the situation and quickly returned to the center of the stage. As he appeared again, the excited shouts quickly calmed down, but everyone was still standing. Lu Chun sorted out his thoughts and said to the microphone, "Thank you, everyone. Thank you for liking this song so much. Then I will sing another song for you. It is also a song that I wrote myself. I hope you like it. Its name is Song of Time." Warm applause rang out, as dense as rain falling on banana leaves. But in an instant it disappeared completely, because Lu Chun began to sing. Time is slower than you and the world is 1 year older. How can I not be anxious? Youth has fled. For so many years you always say that meeting hasn't changed, but the photo remembers the young man's face. What hasn't changed is this infatuation. What has changed is this time. So many years of youth never to return, and also met people who made me miss. This world is still this world, but it turns out that you and I are long gone. Playing the guitar casually, Lu Chun sang softly, using his voice to bring all the audience back to the past, to reminisce the beauty of the past, and to miss the people who came and went in their lives. This song had the same sentimentality as Those Flowers, but it was more nostalgic. Just like the chorus. This time shaking and shaking, this time turning and spinning. This time turning and spinning, this time turning and spinning. Accompanied by Lu Chun's clear, clean and slightly sad singing, an indescribable atmosphere enveloped the auditorium. Everyone unconsciously sat down again and quietly listened to him play and sing. It was also quiet backstage. The facilities in the auditorium were very advanced. There was a television screen in the backstage area, where one could watch the live broadcast of the stage. Almost everyone in the large dressing room was gathered in front of the screen. Chao Xiuzhu was one of them. She had just shed tears, and there were still sparkling tears in the corners of her eyes. She was not the only one who was crying. So many years of youth never to return, and I've met people who make me miss. But what hasn't changed is this infatuation. What has changed is this piece of time. I want to sing a ballad of time for you so that my youth won't grow old. I want to sing a ballad of time for you so that my youth won't grow old. Our youth won't grow old. After playing the last part, Lu Chun did not thank him again. Instead, he quietly bowed and left the stage. Let everyone slowly savor the rest. This time, no one asked him to stay and return to the stage, because everyone was still immersed in the atmosphere created by the song. Lu Chun returned backstage smoothly. As soon as he came down, a figure suddenly pounced on him and hugged him. Lu Chun was shocked. He took a closer look and hurriedly shouted, "Hey, hey, hey, class monitor Chao, don't hug indecent people." It was Chao Xiuzhu who hugged him. The female class monitor loosened her arms with red eyes and said, "Lu Chun, you sang so well. I didn't know you were so talented." Lu Chun smiled and said, "I'm a late bloomer." At this time, many people around Lu Chun surrounded him and clapped their hands at the same time. Whether it was those who were about to perform on the stage or those who had already returned from the performance, they paid tribute to Lu Chun with neat, warm and sincere applause. Lu Chun was surprised and moved. He couldn't express it and could only say, thank you everyone. Thank you." Su Xian was also in the crowd. She was smiling and giving her blessings. At the end of the graduation party, when Lu Chun and Gao He returned to the dormitory, it was already 11:30. Everyone didn't speak and lay on their beds. This was their last night in college. "Goodbye my F***king youth." No one knew who shouted hoarsely, but it broke the silence of the night and came through the glass window, as if it was a wounded lone wolf. Goodbye, my college. Boom. There was a low sound of something exploding. Boom. 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 This sound seemed to be contagious, spreading quickly like a plague. Gao He, who was sleeping on Lu Chen's lower bunk, suddenly turned over and stood up, and his head hit Lu Chen's bedboard heavily. But this Qilu man didn't care at all. He picked up the hot water bottle on the ground, then pushed open the glass window, smashed the hot water bottle down, and shouted out of the window with all his strength, "Wang Xiaoling, I love you. Come home with me." Lu Chan, Wan Hongji, and Zhou Rui looked at each other and were speechless to comfort him. Wan Hongji silently picked up his hot water bottle and followed Gao He down the stairs. "Son of a bitch." Lu Chen laughed and immediately jumped out of bed. "Let's smash it together." Hot water bottle, basin, toothbrush jar, trash can, textbook. The entire dormitory area of the university quickly became a crazy battlefield, and everyone threw everything that can be thrown out. The sounds of crashing, shattering, shouting, crying echoed in the empty night for a long time. This is our youth. When he couldn't smash anything, Gao He leaned over and pulled out a box of canned beer from under the bed. He grabbed a few cans of beer and threw them to Lu Chan and others. He opened one himself and said in a hoarse voice, "The last night of college we will open our eyes, no one will sleep." As soon as his voice fell, the door of the dormitory was pushed open. Appearing at the door, it was a petite girl with tears on her face. She sobbed and said, "Gao He, I will go home with you." Patter. The beer can in Gao He's hand suddenly fell to the ground, and the mixed foam splashed out. Little by little, it splashed on his body. Note: Ballad of Time lyrics/composer. Wang Fanrui, the lyrics have been slightly changed. Chapter 79. On June 10th, Lu Chan returned to Beijing. Waving away the melancholy of graduation, he cheered up and went on his way again. From now on, his identity is no longer a college student in the ivory tower, but a real fresh person in society. The road is long and far, and I will search up and down. At this moment, Lu Chan didn't know what was waiting for him in the future. He didn't know whether he was about to embark on a bright road covered with flowers or a dangerous path full of thorns. But he was fearless and full of expectations. Thursday, June 11th, overcast. Lu Chan came to the Delong Building in the 4th Ring Road of Beijing. The Delong Building is a 58-story office building, located in the most prosperous financial and business district of the 4th Ring Road. Lu Chan came here twice some time ago, and participated in the production of 2 singles by the Bionics in Tianjai Music Workshop on the 35th floor. Tianjai Music Workshop is very famous in the Beijing pop music scene. It was established 10 years ago, mainly engaged in music production and promotion business, with complete and advanced equipment, and a group of excellent professionals. Many big names in the industry have produced their works through Tianjai Music Workshop. In order to launch the first shot into pop music, Light Rain Media put its first album in Tianjai Music Workshop. First in quality. Although Lu Chen's participation was not deep, he had a deep understanding of the strength of Tianjai Music Workshop, so he wanted to hand over his album to Tianjai to complete. The idea of making a solo album began to germinate when Lu Chan signed with Whale TV. Later, it was not until after the PK theme show that Yunjing Music Network's editor Sui and discussed with him that he really made up his mind. Lu Chan wants to use this album as a stepping stone to enter the pan-entertainment circle. So he attaches great importance to it and takes it as the first major event after returning to Beijing. In the customer reception room of Tianjai Music Workshop, Lu Chan first met the other party's business representative. The business representative's surname was Ai, and she was in her 30s. She was a typical white-skinned woman in the workplace. Her makeup was exquisite and she was well dressed. Although the smile on her face was slightly professional, it did not make people feel neglected. Miss Ai spoke softly, "Mr. Lu Chan, this is our company's price list for music production, which includes 5 sets of ABCD. Of course, if you have special requirements, our company can also tailor-make it for you." Lu Chan nodded, took the price list and looked at it carefully. The first 2 times he came to Tianjai Music Workshop, he was there to help, and he didn't inquire about the price. Now he had an eye-opener. This price list was specifically for album production, including all the costs of arrangement, recording, and post-production. Among the 5, the lowest E package was quoted at 100,000 yuan, and the highest A package was quoted at 1 million yuan. The difference was 10 times. Before coming to Tianjai Music Workshop, Lu Chen knew something about single and album production. Beijing is the center of the national cultural industry. There are countless entertainment and media companies. There are as many as millions of people in the entertainment-related industry. Big and small music studios, recording studios, and professional production companies are everywhere. If you just want to play and don't pay attention to quality, you can directly place an order online to commission the production of a personal album. And if you want to experience the feeling of recording in the studio, spending 1 or 2,000 yuan can also meet the needs. Of course, these are pure amateurs. If you really want to produce a high-quality single or album, the cost is very high. 10 or 20,000 yuan per song is the basic, and hundreds of thousands of yuan is not too expensive. You get what you pay for. So, although there are so many singers drifting in Beijing, many people have never released a real album in their lives. In addition to the song itself, the cost of production is the key, and there are also publicity and distribution later. If they can't sell it, they will lose money. As for the songs made for thousands of yuan, they can't find a channel at all, and it would be embarrassing to give them away for free. As a senior company in the industry, Tianjai Music Workshop is very professional. The price list lists the various costs included in the 5 packages in detail, so that people can see clearly. After reading it, Lu Chen was most satisfied with the C package, which has well-known arrangers and producers in the industry plus band accompaniment, high-level recording and post-production. The price is 500,000 yuan, which is equivalent to 50,000 yuan for a song. It's not that the AB package is not as good as the C package, but the price of the AB package is not what Lu Chen can afford at all. Even if it's the C package, he can't afford it now. As for the 250,000 yuan D package and the 100,000 yuan package, compared with the C package, they are not very sincere. If you don't manage the family, you don't know the cost of daily necessities. Lu Chen secretly sighed. He held the price list and asked tentatively, "Miss and I, if I choose the C package, how much discount can your company give me?" He heard Qin Hanyang mention last time that he could bargain with the production company. Miss and I said sincerely, "Mr. Lu, I can give you a 95% discount at most with my authority. If you can ask our manager or director to sign it, the lowest discount is 10%. Lu Chen gave up when he heard this. Not to mention that he didn't know the manager and director of Tianjai Music Workshop at all, and even if he could get the other party's signature, a 10% discount would still cost 450,000 yuan. Lu Chen knows that if he doesn't come forward personally, but talks with an industry company like Light Rain Media, it is estimated that the price will be lower. Who told him to do it alone? As the saying goes, a big tree is a good shade. Although signing a contract with an entertainment media company will lose a lot of freedom and rights and interests, there are also many conveniences such as production and distribution there is no need to worry about, and publicity efforts. But Lu Chen doesn't regret his choice. He thought about it and said, "Then I'll think about it. Miss and I, can I take this price list with me?" Miss and I smiled sweetly and said, "Absolutely. If you have any questions, you can also ask me directly." Her business card was given to Lu Chen when they met. "Thank you." Lu Chen left Tianjai Music Workshop with the price list. In fact, for Lu Chen now, 450,000 yuan is really not too big a number. He can earn it over a period of time, or he can find a way to sell 2 songs. However, this involves another problem, that is, with such a large investment, can he earn back the cost? Lu Chen is not sure. He has made some achievements in online live broadcasting and has a large number of fans, but he is not even a newcomer in the entertainment industry. He is still an outsider and has no influence at all. Moreover, online albums also involve piracy. Online albums are sold at very low prices, but not many people are willing to pay for them, because free pirated resources can soon be found after the album is released. The same principle applies to Whale TV. Don't look at him having hundreds of thousands of fish powder. It's like a reward. Only a small number of people are really willing to pay for it. The album is 100% going to be released, but Lu Chen doesn't want to lose money, and he refuses to compromise on quality. That's very problematic. The idea is beautiful, but the reality is too cruel. With a tangled mind, he took the elevator down to the ground floor of the Delong building. As soon as he stepped out of the elevator, A middle-aged man suddenly strode over and stopped Lu Chan. "Sir, are you going to make songs in Tianjai Music Workshop?" The middle-aged man, who was about 50 years old, was thin and wore a suit that was not very fitting, so it looked loose. He looked a little nervous when he spoke, and his eyes were more focused on the security guard in the hall not far away. Lu Chan was stunned and asked curiously, "What can I do for you?" The middle-aged man breathed a sigh of relief. He immediately took out a business card from his pocket and handed it to Lu Chan with both hands. "I'm Wang Changsheng, manager of Nirvana Music Production Studio. Can we talk?" He spoke quite fast, with a trace of uneasiness and expectation. Nirvana Music Production Studio? Lu Chan thought about it and didn't have the slightest impression of it. He hesitated and said, "All right." He was mainly curious. There was a tea house on the first floor of the Delong building. The two found a place to sit down and ordered a pot of tea. After sitting down, Lu Chen's first question was, "Manager Wang, how did you know that I was going to make songs in Tianjai Music Workshop?" The studio manager named Wang Changxing pointed to the price list that Lu Chan had put on the table and said with embarrassment, "I saw this thing in your hand, so I came to try my luck." Lu Chan couldn't help laughing. Chapter 80. There are many music production companies in Beijing, and there are even more small studios. In the Delong building alone, there are Tianjai Workshop, Golden Disc Culture, Sunshine Records and other well-known music production units in the industry, and the competition between them is very fierce. Although Lu Chen's first choice for making a solo album was Tianjai Workshop, the latter was not the only choice. He didn't expect that there would be a small studio soliciting business in the lobby of the Delong building. It's really hard to do business these days. While sighing, Lu Chan chatted with Wang Changsheng, the manager of Nirvana Studio, in front of him for a few minutes. Wang Changsheng dared to come here to solicit customers because he had some confidence. This Nirvana Studio has an independent recording studio and band. Its members include 3 graduates of Beijing Conservatory of Music, who can complete all the work from composition to the later stage. The most important thing is that their prices are cheap. Wang Changxing said, "Our studio has the ability to guarantee the production quality of Tianjai Workshop's D package. The price is only 100,000 yuan, and an album is only 100,000 yuan. Wang Changsheng is certainly not a shrewd businessman. He was obviously nervous when he offered the price. His eyes were fixed on Lu Chan, and his hands were involuntarily clenched into fists, as if he was worried that he would be ruthlessly rejected by the latter. But he said the previous sentence very confidently, and he knows Tianjai Workshop very well. Lu Chan feels a little interesting. The price of Tianjai Workshop's D package is 250,000 yuan. Wang Changsheng asked for 100,000 yuan, and there is obviously room for bargaining. There should be no problem cutting down a little more. But how can the other party guarantee the same quality? Tianjai Workshop's recording studio alone is said to have cost millions of yuan, and its advanced facilities are among the best in the industry. Lu Chan doesn't believe that Nirvana Studio will have such a big investment. Otherwise, as a manager, why does he need to run to pull business by himself? And it's like waiting for a rabbit. Lu Chan didn't think he was the rabbit hitting the tree. He thought about it and said, "Manager Wang, I'm going to release a solo album, but the quality requirements are very high. At present, it's Tianjai Workshop, so I'm sorry. Tianjai Workshop's D package is not Lu Chen's choice. If he wants a cheaper package, he can also choose the E package. At least it was more reliable than a small, unknown studio, right? Then I'm really sorry to disturb you. I'm sorry for wasting your time." Wang Changsheng awkwardly waved his hand and said, "I should be the one apologizing. Then goodbye." Lu Chen couldn't help but laugh. He wasn't mocking him. He just felt that this person wasn't a businessman and didn't even know the basics of negotiation. However, he had a better impression of Wang Changsheng. Lu Chen stood up and took the initiative to extend his hand. "Manager Wang, I'll contact you again if there's a need." Good. Wang Changsheng hurriedly got up and shook hands with Lu Chen. "Thank you." Lu Chen nodded and left the tea house. When he left, Lu Chen also paid the bill by the way. A pot of tea here was not cheap. Wang Changxing sat for a while longer. When he called the waiter to pay the bill, he found that Lu Chen had already paid the bill. He hurriedly ran out to catch up with Lu Chan, but he couldn't find the latter. Lu Chan returned to his home and spent the afternoon sorting out the songs of the album. There are 10 songs in an album. He originally finalized 6 songs: You Who Sat Next to Me, Love in the Wind, The Brother Who Slept on My Upper Bunk, Cinderella, The Bright Times of Youth, and Beauty. Now he can add Those Flowers and Ballad of Time. The 8 songs are unified and classic enough. For the first album in his life, Lu Chan will never be careless. After careful consideration, Once You was also added to the album list. Once You is not a folk song but a light rock style, but Lu Chan likes this song very much. He decided to use this song as the ending song of the album, which is a little surprise egg. In fact, it's really extravagant to think about it. Whether it's You Who Sat Next to Me, Love in the Wind, or Those Flowers, or even Beauty, any song is qualified to be the title song of an album for publicity and promotion. Lu Chan put them all in the same album, which felt a bit of a waste of natural resources. Owning the treasures of a world is so capricious. As for the 10th song, Lu Chan has already thought about it. This song is also a folk song, the same nostalgic style and very nostalgic. Just listen to it. The open space below my house is a cinema. It no longer appears on summer nights. Today's children don't know the past, the world people were intoxicated with at that time. When I grew up, I watched them perform love. When they kissed, I felt sad. Under the screen, children played games. In the movie, someone cried for her. There are no open-air cinemas in the city. I can't see the opposite side of the screen anymore. Are you still playing the game of that time? You can't see the stars when you watch the movie La. When Lu Chan finished singing this soothing, delicate, and even a little poignant new song, the barrage in Lu Fei's live broadcast room was like a tide. It's so beautiful. Lu Feida is so talented. It's very nostalgic. I like it. It reminds me of when I was a child. The lyrics are so well written and the melody is even better. What's the name of this song? I strongly request to sing it again. No, it's 10 more times. Sing it 10 more times plus 1. Lu Chan put down the guitar and said with a smile, the name of this song is called Open Air Cinema. It's the first time I've sung it in the live broadcast room. It's to make up for what I owe you during this period of time, and I hope you can like it. He went home and attended the graduation ceremony, so the live broadcast was temporarily suspended for a few days. When it was restarted this evening, the online popularity of the live broadcast room was much less. At first, there were only 300,000 plus. Therefore, in addition to singing a new song, Lu Chan also wanted to announce a piece of good news. After a pause, he continued, in addition to telling everyone one more thing, that is, I'm going to rearrange all the songs I've written before, make a real album, and then publish it on the internet. When the time comes, everyone is welcome to buy and download it. As soon as his voice fell, the live broadcast room suddenly burst into an uproar. What? An album? I didn't hear it wrong, did I? Lu Feida is mighty. That's great. I've been looking forward to this day. Host Big, which website will your album be published on? Don't say anything else. When the time comes, I'll inform all my friends and classmates to buy the original album. Yes, we support the original album. An online album costs 10 yuan. The students say that there's no pressure. It's just skipping breakfast. The one in front is really a nouveau riche. Eating breakfast costs 10 yuan. But I want the CD more. CD plus 1. CD plus 2. CD plus 10,000. Along with the bullet screen, there were countless fishballs and aircraft carriers given by the nouveau riche. This was the most direct way for fish fans to express their joy. The atmosphere in the live broadcast room became extremely warm, and the popularity value rose steadily due to the emergence of heavy rewards. Although Lu Chan's every live broadcast was recorded, and all the songs he sang could be found in the forum Fish Nest, a specially produced music album was a completely different matter. So far, apart from the hundreds of thousands of fish fans, Lu Chan has a group of real fans. They like the style of Lu Chan's live broadcast, like his original works, and like nostalgic or sad folk songs. On the days when they couldn't see Lu Chan's live broadcast, they would repeatedly watch the past videos, listen to his songs over and over again, and spare no effort to recommend them to others. These fans were no longer simple fans but fans, celebrity fans. And they also had the strongest reaction to Lu Chan's upcoming album. and they most hoped that he could release a CD at the same time. What kind of album is an online album? A CD is the real album. Many Lu Fei fans expressed through the bullet screen that they would buy CDs to support Lu Chun. Their strong appeal, of course, was seen by Lu Chun. Lu Chun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It was not easy to release a CD album than to release an online album, and it was easier to lose money. There were too few people who bought CDs to listen to songs. However, the enthusiasm and eagerness of the Fish fans gave Lu Chun a sudden flash of inspiration in his mind. In fact, it was not impossible to release an online album and a CD album at the same time. His idea came from the dream world, and it seemed that it had not appeared in this world. While Lu Chun was communicating with fans in the live broadcast room, the first single of the Bionics under Light Rain Media also began its first wave of promotion on the internet that night. Note: Outdoor Cinema Lyrics/Composer. Yudong. Chapter 81. Drip. Just after dinner, Chen Jian sat in front of the computer as usual. He skillfully opened the small blue tab in the browser's favorites bar and linked it to Wuxia. The middle-aged Chen Jian was a salaryman who worked 7 to 6. He had a gentle and kind wife and a lively and lovely daughter. At the same time, he was burdened with a heavy mortgage and family responsibilities. Therefore, he quit smoking and playing games, and reduced the number of times he went out with his friends. While living frugally, he spent most of his free time in his small study, surfing the internet, reading news, novels, movies, and videos. Wuxia is the earliest and largest video website in China. It claims to have hundreds of millions of registered members. Chen Jian likes to watch all kinds of colorful video programs on it, because they are all free. The mouse wheel had just rolled twice, and Chen Jian still hadn't found the content he liked. Suddenly, a small pop-up window popped up and intruded into his line of sight. There are more and more advertisements on Wuxia, Chen Jian muttered discontentedly. Of course, he was already used to the discriminatory treatment of being a free member. He accepted his fate and opened the pop-up video window. This was because clicking on the advertisement could increase the points needed to exchange for an official member. The pop-up video instantly expanded to the entire screen, and the image was quite clear. The first thing that caught Chen Jian's eyes was the scene of a bustling metropolis. He could easily tell that this was the capital city. Then the camera swooped down at high speed into an underground passageway. The spacious underground passage was clean and tidy. It was very lively with people coming and going. The men and women in the city rubbed shoulders with each other, and their footsteps were as fast as the rhythm of the city. On one side of the underground tunnel, there were many street performers performing. Some of them were performing magic, some were showing off their dance skills, and some were singing in low voices, hoping that their performances could impress the passers-by. The camera moved forward and finally stopped on a street band. The middle-aged singer stood in front of the microphone with a guitar in his arms. His eyes were filled with the vicissitudes of life, as if he was reminiscing. The 4 drummers, keyboardists, bassists, and guitarists leaned against the wall motionless like frozen statues. After a while, the noise in the underground passage gradually disappeared, and the prelude of the music started. It was as if the band had suddenly woken up from a deep sleep. The performance began. I remember that spring many years ago. At that time I hadn't cut my long hair yet. No credit card, no her. A home without 24-hour hot water. But back then I was so happy. Although it was only a broken wooden guitar. In the street, under the bridge, in the field, singing the song that no one cared about. When the slightly hoarse voice was transmitted to Chen Jian's ears through the small speaker that cost a few hundred yuan, his hand that was holding the mouse suddenly became extremely stiff. His index finger that was pressing on the left button couldn't be pressed. Originally, he had planned to close it. This song was like a bolt of lightning that suddenly broke through the defenses in his heart. It made him feel the emotions that he had suppressed in the bottom of his heart for a long, long time, to the point where he thought they had long disappeared, suddenly burst forth. If one day I have no one to rely on, leave me here in that time. If one day I left quietly, bury me in the ground in the spring. Countless memories emerged in his mind. He used to be young and frivolous. He used to be high-spirited. Now, Chen Jian did not have the impulsive passion of the past. His days were calm and peaceful. He cherished his current life very much. It was tiring but happy, but he always felt that something was missing, but he couldn't tell what it was. Until I heard this song. Chen Jian had not shed tears since he was 10 years old. But at this moment he had the urge to cry. He watched the not very long MV in a daze, but he didn't press the mouse. At this time the door of the study was suddenly pushed open. A little head with a small braid poked in. Her big black eyes looked curiously at Chen Jian, who was in a daze. She looked very puzzled. Biting her finger, the little girl turned her head and shouted, "Mom, it's terrible. Dad is crying." "Xiaonan, don't shout." Chen Jian suddenly woke up as if he had just woken up from a dream. He almost fell off the chair. He hurriedly shook off the mouse and raised his hand to wipe the corners of his eyes. It was really a little wet. The sound of footsteps came from afar. Chen Jian's wife appeared at the door of the study and asked, "What's wrong?" The little girl said with certainty, "I saw Dad crying. It's shameful." Chen Jian was so ashamed that he became angry. "I'm not crying. Dad's eyes are sore and he just took eye drops. He's not crying." His wife smiled. She leaned over and picked up the little girl, then closed the door. "Let's not disturb Dad." Chen Jian finally breathed a sigh of relief. His attention returned to the screen. The picture on the screen froze at the last frame. It showed the name of the song and the singer. In the Spring/The Bionics. Chen Jian calmed down, held the mouse, opened the website link of the video, and logged into the comment area. He wanted to say something. If he didn't say it, he was afraid that he would lose sleep at night. The comment area of this video, titled "The New Power of Rock and Roll in the Spring," has been very lively. The number of comments is as high as 50,000. In addition to VIP members, video advertising is the most important profit point of Wuxia. Based on the huge number of registered users, the cost of buying the homepage pop-up window is very high. Originally, the customers of the homepage pop-up window were basically product advertisers. Later, because the website users were very disgusted, coupled with the rise of the entertainment industry, the content of the pop-up window was changed to pop music, film and television previews, variety promotions, and so on. Many famous singers often buy a pop-up window on the homepage of Wuxia for a few days when they release a new song. The effect of promotion and publicity is quite good and can attract a lot of attention. For thousands of visitors to Wuxia, the Bionics is a completely strange band. But this does not prevent them from loving this song, "In the Spring." A really good song. It's been downloaded and saved. You have to listen to it at least 10 times. It's a very tasty song. A rare light rock and roll masterpiece in recent times. It's well written and sung. Does anyone know if the Bionics have other works? Is it a new band? I didn't find it on the internet. It's very touching, but it's too vicissitudes. I want to cry when I listen to it. What should I do? Isn't the original poster's tier point too low? Although this song is really good. From now on, I'm the Bionics Rice. It's the first time I've finished reading the homepage pop-up window of Wuxia. It's my first time too. One of the registered members named Mengi Chong and wrote in the comment post, "If life has not experienced suffering, then it will never be able to experience the happiness of life itself. Suffering is part of the happiness of life. And happiness is a sublimation of suffering. Whenever we look back on the past, how can we not cry? Recalling those who have experienced suffering but the most worth recovering youth, there is always a touch of nostalgia in our hearts. But sadness does not mean depression. We sigh at the common suffering of life in the past, but we should know how to cherish the beauty and happiness of the present." I think that's what this song "In the Spring" wants to tell us. Thank you, the Bionics, for letting me experience a touch and let me hear a really good song. In this ostentatious and noisy world, good songs like this were really too rare. The post Mengi Chong was pinned by the administrator and received 30,000 plus likes. Mengi is Chen Jian. The first single "In the Spring" by the Bionics, a subsidiary of Light Rain Media, debuted on Wuxia. The number of hits exceeded 5 million that night, with more than 100,000 comments and 85% of the audience liked it. Such data is undoubtedly the beginning of a big hit. Immediately afterward, "In the Spring" launched the MV and original soundtrack on Tomato, QQ Music, NetEase Music, Pop Radio and other online media simultaneously, all of which aroused widespread and enthusiastic attention. Starting on June 11th and ending on June 15th, a total of 5 days. In the Spring has exceeded 100 million views on Wuxia's website. The charm of a classic song can withstand the test of any time and space, and will never be buried. In the Spring has such power. As long as there is the right opportunity, it will inevitably shine with dazzling brilliance. Chapter 82. Beijing CBD Central Business District South. Global Building, 39th floor, Light Rain Media Company, Limited. In the general manager's office, Dong Yu carefully read the thick financial statements. The coffee on the table was already cold. Light Rain Media was only established a few months ago. It was considered a newcomer in the industry. So far, the number of employees had not exceeded 50. However, with the development of the business, the work began to become very busy. Dong Yu had been working overtime. For her, to be able to take control of such a vibrant new company, and then develop it was a wonderful experience with a sense of accomplishment. Knock, knock. The door of the room was gently knocked. Without waiting for Dong Yu's response, the person pushed in. Dong Yu didn't raise her head because she knew that in the entire company, only one person would do this. Light Rain Media's director, Su Qingmei. Miss Su. Su Qingmei held 2 pieces of printed paper in her hand. She quickly walked to Dong Yu's desk and said with a smile, "Sister Yu, the promotional results of the Bionic single are out. It's 100% going to be a hit." Because of the excitement, a charming bright red appeared on her pretty face, making her even more charming and charming. Dong Yu put down the report and smiled faintly. "We have invested millions. If we can't produce results, then I should resign as the general manager." The Bionics wasn't the first band signed by Light Rain Media, but it was the first group to debut. Light Rain Media Company was undoubtedly weak in this industry where the big shots were as common as clouds. Even though Dong Yu and Su Qingmei had their own family backgrounds to rely on, in this industry, they still had to follow the rules. Therefore, the success of the first packaging operation after the opening was particularly important. For this reason, Light Rain Media spent a lot of manpower and material resources. Recently, the entire company was busy around the Bionics. Now they finally saw the preliminary results. Just the funds invested in online media accounted for 70% of the budget. Nowadays, the entertainment industry was incomparably closely connected with the online world. It had become the main battlefield for most stars to promote themselves. It was wishful thinking for newcomers to stand out without spending money to buy a position. Of course, the effect of spending money to a large extent depended on the strength. Dong Yu had confidence in the Bionics, or more accurately, in the Bionics' new song, so she decisively released the Bionics first, instead of the North Needle band that was signed earlier. The 2 thin pieces of paper in Su Qingmei's hands bore the weight of her success and failure. The Bionics' lead single in the Spring had 115 million views on Wuxia's website, with a favorable rating of 93.26%. Tomato Web, 73 million views, 95.2% positive rating. QQ Music 15.6 million plays, 97.46% favorable rating. EasyNet Music 12.77 million plays, 96.98% positive rating. Pop radio station. Such a result was so hot that it was scalding hot. It was inevitable that it would sell like hotcakes. Su Qingmei said proudly. Judging from the data summarized by various websites, the online promotion of this song is the best this year. Both Wuxia and EasyNet Music hope that we can continue to chart. QQ Music has re-evaluated the download expectation of the new album and intends to negotiate with us again. She had no reason not to be proud. QQ Music was the largest music website in China. Relying on hundreds of millions of QQ users, it represented the trend of domestic pop music to a large extent. If it wasn't for the trend of In the Spring to become a phenomenal work, this industry giant would never have taken the initiative to renegotiate the contract with Light Rain Media. The original conditions of cooperation proposed by Light Rain Media were directly passed by QQ Music. How could a small Light Rain Media be qualified to bargain with them? Right now, even Dong Yu also felt proud and elated. She said with a smile, "Then take manager Song to have a good talk with them. Our first choice is still QQ Music." Nowadays, the entertainment industry is taking the route of idols and stars. What they earn is the fan economy. No matter how popular a song is, It is simply wishful thinking to recover the cost of publicity through online or CD sales. QQ Music has the largest number of genuine downloads. A paid download of a song is 1 yuan, and VIP members are 0.8 yuan. More than 100,000 paid downloads are hot sales, 300,000 is considered a big sale, and 500,000 is 99% likely to be their own ranking. Most people are used to using free online editions or free pirated resources. And for this little money, QQ Music must first take 50%, and singers at least 10%. How can they earn back the cost? In the past, in the era of non-smart machines, hot song ringtone sales were a piece of fat meat. Now who still plays with this? Therefore, the funds invested by Light Rain Media now must be recovered by the Bionics through advertising, notices, performances, variety shows and other channels and achieve profits. Of course, because of the huge influence of the internet, even if it is a loss, it has to be done. Su Qingmei beamed with joy. In the spring is no problem selling well, and it will also drive the sales of the whole album. The other 2 new songs are also full of potential. Maybe we can earn back most of the costs by relying on online sales. Dong Yu sighed and said, "It's a pity that we failed to sign Lu Chan." When it came to Lu Chan, Su Qingmei's face immediately became embarrassed. Lu Chan gave a total of 3 songs to the Bionics and Sister Na, plus 2 of Qin Yonghan's own original songs, a total of 5 songs to form a mini-album, which was the focus of Light Rain Media's current promotion. All 5 songs have been listened to by senior people in the industry, as the main song, In the Spring, has the highest evaluation. Sister Na's, I Want to Have a Home, and another song were also very well evaluated. Qin Yonghan's 2 songs were barely qualified. For a mini-album, having 3 good songs is completely enough. What made Su Qingmei depressed is that these 3 songs were all written by Lu Chan, and even the single that the North Needle Band is going to release is the same. Thinking of the loss she suffered from Lu Chan, Su Qingmei always felt her teeth itch. Anyway, she knew that she can't be willful on this matter, so she pouted and said, "Then I will talk to him again. At worst, I will give him the best conditions. I don't believe that he won't be tempted." If in the past, Lu Chen's original works have not been verified by the market, there is still the possibility of uncertainty. But now his talent is unquestionable and even coveted. The key is that Lu Chan has not signed a contract with any company so far. He is like a diamond that fell on the street. If Light Rain Media doesn't think of a way to snatch him back, I'm afraid that there will not be another chance in the future. For the future and development of the company, Su Qingmei can still put down her pride. But Dong Yu is not optimistic. That may not be true. I feel that Lu Chan will not sign with anyone. He will do it alone. How about? She blinked at Su Qingmei and said, "You can sacrifice your body for the company. As long as you can seduce this handsome young man, you can do whatever you want." "Sister Yu." Su Qingmei's cheeks suddenly turned red and she said angrily, "You are the general manager. If you want to sacrifice, you should be the one to sacrifice." Dong Yu said with a smile, "I'm an old woman. He doesn't want me." As soon as her voice fell, Su Qingmei rushed over, and her delicate hand went straight to her vital parts. "Then I'll take it." Laughter rang out, and the office was full of spring scenery. At this moment, Lu Chan didn't know that he was being remembered, and that someone had to sacrifice her body. He just received a call from Tianjai Music Workshop. It was Miss Anai, the business representative of Tianjai Music Workshop, who called Lu Chan. These days, in addition to early exercise, Lu Chan basically stayed at home, except for live broadcasts and sorting out songs. For the 10 songs of his debut album, he spent a lot of energy correcting the details to ensure that all the songs fit perfectly with the works in his memory, and sculpting the lyrics in order to achieve the effect of excellence. In addition, Lu Chan also wrote out the arrangement requirements of 10 songs, so that once a partner is determined, he can quickly enter the production link, saving a lot of time for communication. Most importantly, such work is also a process for Lu Chan to improve himself. He doesn't want to simply write songs according to his memory, and then casually throw them out to make money, becoming a moth lying on a mountain of gold. He hopes to become a well-deserved perfect star through continuous learning, digesting and integrating the spiritual wealth from the dream world. Chapter 83. Mr. Lu Chan, do you have time at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning? The voice coming from the other side of the phone was very polite and pleasant, and even gave people a trace of wonderful reverie. Lu Chen didn't think too much. The first thing he thought of was the album he was going to make, so he immediately replied, "I have time, Miss Ni. May I ask what it is?" Lu Chen didn't expect that the business representative of Tianjai Workshop would take the initiative to call him. He has also been thinking about album production for the past few days. Tianjai Workshop is of course the first choice, but it is not the only choice. Now that the other party is calling to invite him, there should be good news, right? Lu Chen can't be sure. After all, he is still a newcomer in this circle. The more he thinks about it, the more disappointed he will be. Miss Ni chuckled and said, "It's a surprise. A director of our Tianjai Workshop wants to talk to you in person. We'll meet at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning in the coffee shop on the second floor of Delong Building. Please tell him my name when you arrive, okay?" Lu Chen. "Okay, no problem." Surprise? How happy. The director of Tianjai Workshop sounds like he has some background. Lu Chen didn't dare to think too much, so the answer would be revealed tomorrow. A dreamless night. Early the next morning, he got up early to exercise as usual. After breakfast, he went home to take a bath and change his clothes. At 9:50 in the morning, Lu Chen arrived at Delong Building ahead of time. Delong Building is a standard commercial office building with a coffee shop and a buffet restaurant on the second floor. When he arrived, he reported Miss Ni's name and was taken to a small box by the window by the waiter. Miss Ni was already there. In addition to her, there were two other people in the box. One was a young man in a suit with a crew cut, and the other was a middle-aged man in his 50s with a square face, dressed casually but full of style. Lu Chen recognized that the latter was wearing a valuable Vacheron Constantin watch, one of the favorite brands of business elites, and he had a little idea in his heart. Seeing Lu Chen come in, Miss Ni and the young man stood up at the same time. Lu Chen apologized. "I'm sorry to have kept you waiting for a long time." Miss Ni smiled and said, "We came early, but you are not late. Let me introduce you. This is the director of our Tianjai Workshop and the general manager of Juxing Brokerage Company, Mr. Jin Hongwei." Assembly of Stars Management Company? Jin Hongwei? Lu Chen's heart skipped a beat. He immediately extended his hand and said, "Hello, Director Jin. I've heard a lot about you." Lu Chen wasn't just being polite. He really knew the name of this CEO Jin. Juxing Corporation was a famous management company in the entertainment industry. Not only was Jin Hongwei the founder of Juxing Corporation, he was also a big shot in the industry. He had produced many heavenly kings and queens. For example, Tan Hong, whom Lu Chen was most familiar with and loved, was discovered and cultivated by Jin Hongwei. Another example is Heavenly Queen Chen Feier, who signed with Juxing Corporation at the earliest. Lu Chen's impression of Jin Hongwei all comes from the gossip news of the online entertainment industry. There are many good and bad rumors, but in the entertainment management industry, Jin Hongwei is recognized as the top figure. He didn't expect that Jin Hongwei would make an appointment with him today, and he was also one of the directors of Tianjai Workshop. What a surprise! Lu Chen felt a little flattered. Jin Hongwei's reputation for having sharp eyes and being good at digging up fresh talents is extremely resounding. Being fancied by him is undoubtedly the dream of those newcomers who want to step into the entertainment industry. It wasn't until Lu Chen extended his hand that Jin Hongwei stood up unhurriedly, shook hands with him and said, "Well, Lu Chen, I heard your name half a month ago. You are a very talented young man." Lu Chen said with a smile, "Thank you for your compliment, Director Jin." "It's not a compliment, it's a fact." Jin Hongwei released his hand and said, "I've listened to the 3 songs you wrote for the Bionics. They were written very well. With your talent, you shouldn't be like this. You should stand on the real stage. To become a big star in the limelight, I believe you have such strength." His words were not very impassioned, but they were plain and firm, full of bewitching power. Lu Chen could only smile. Jin Hongwei's evaluation was so high that he didn't know how to answer. "I'm very optimistic about you." Jin Hongwei motioned Lu Chen to sit down and talk, and Miss Ni personally poured him tea. After a few casual chats, Jin Hongwei reached out to the young man next to him. The young man, Jin Hongwei's assistant, hurriedly took out a contract from the briefcase he carried with him. Jin Hongwei took it in his hand and said meaningfully, Lu Chan, I know you want to release a solo album recently. Are you having trouble with funds? This is very simple. Our company will help you solve it. It will be customized according to the highest standard specifications, and, after a pause, he continued, in a few days the second season of Shonan TV's Super Singer will hold an audition. Our company has cooperation with them. How about recommending you to participate? At least guarantee that you will be in the top 3. The industry big shot put the contract in front of Lu Chan and said, You just have to sign it. Jin Hongwei's voice was full of confidence. He obviously didn't think Lu Chan would refuse. Miss and I said with a smile, Congratulations, Mr. Lu Chan. The highest standard of album customization, the top 3 of Super Singer, the support of Jushin Corporation, of course. There is also the favor of this big shot in the entertainment industry. For any newcomer, this was simply a dream come true. Lu Chan looked at the contract placed in front of him, and the fame and benefits he longed for seemed to be within reach. It's just that everything came too fast. He wasn't mentally prepared yet. However, at this time Lu Chan didn't get carried away. Instead, he calmed down. There's no such thing as a pie falling from the sky. Jushin Corporation and Jin Hongwei are not living Lei Feng. How much they pay, they must earn it back in double. Does this contract really want to sign? Lu Chan couldn't help but think of the news on the internet. Tan Hong and Chan Feier, cultivated by Jin Hongwei, eventually fell out with him and fought a lawsuit. Both of them once denounced Jushin Corporation's domineering and harsh contract. Although the rumors on the internet may not be true, and creating public opinion must occupy the moral high ground, there must be a reason for groundless rumors. Jin Hongwei's evaluation in the industry is not perfect. The contract in front of him reminded Lu Chan of some unpleasant past. His determination, which had just been shaken, became firm again. Mr. Jin, thank you for your kindness. Lu Chan didn't look at the contract, but raised his head and said to Jin Hongwei, But I'm not going to sign a contract with any company, so please forgive me. Lu Chan is not confident that he is stronger than Tan Hong and Chan Feier. Jin Hongwei has given him such a high treatment. This contract must be very strict and even harsh. In all likelihood, it's a contract to sell himself. In order to prevent others from thinking that he is putting on airs before becoming famous, Lu Chan directly rejected it and clearly expressed his attitude and thoughts. For Jin Hongwei, Lu Chan's rejection was completely out of his expectations. Why did you reject it? How can I reject it? How dare I reject it? Jin Hongwei's shock was directly expressed on his face. Even with his deep and profound character, he also lost his composure. Jin Hongwei has been in the entertainment industry for 30 years. He started off as a small agent's assistant. Until now, what he is most proud of is that he can sign anyone he wants to sign. Basically, there is no one he can't sign. Back then, Tan Hong was so difficult to deal with, but he was also settled by him. Back then, Chan Feier was so arrogant, but didn't he still sign his name on the contract? Lu Chan is just a newcomer who hasn't officially debuted yet. But he actually ignored the generous conditions he put forward. He didn't even look at the contract and rejected it. It is simply a slap in the face. His assistant and Miss and I were also stunned. They looked at Lu Chan with disbelief. A golden road to fame is paved under his feet, but Lu Chan is actually unwilling to step on it. Is he crazy or stupid? After all, Jin Hongwei is not an ordinary person. His face changed for a moment and quickly calmed down. He asked, Lu Chan, do you have any difficulties? Can you tell me? Lu Chan didn't know what the other person was thinking. He felt very embarrassed and explained, Mr. Jin, I'm really sorry. I just don't like to be bound. I originally planned to open a personal studio, so I understand. Jin Hongwei nodded and said, Then I can understand. I'm really sorry. I hope there will be opportunities for cooperation in the future. Lu Chan said happily, Thank you. Now that he has refused, he couldn't stay any longer, so he got up and left. Jin Hongwei didn't ask him to stay but finally said, Lu Chan, your talent should not be buried. Go and participate in the Super Singer. I'm very optimistic about you. After Lu Chan left, the face of the big shot in the industry suddenly sank. Even the temperature in the box dropped a lot. Chapter 84. Shonan TV is the overlord of variety shows on domestic family TV screens. Its daily variety shows Happy Big Family, Celebrity Duo, Everyday Life Show, and other programs have high ratings and have been superior to their peers for many years. Since 2008, Shonan TV has also launched Supergirl, Superboy, National New Idol, and other popular talent competitions, which have achieved great success. They have launched a number of well-known idol stars and attracted other major satellite TV stations to compete to imitate them, setting off waves of national entertainment. Although Lu Chan doesn't watch much TV programs, he is still familiar with the name of Shonan TV. So when he got home, he searched for Shonan TV and Super Singer on the internet as soon as he got home. As a result, there was a surprising discovery. Super Singer is a singing talent competition launched by Xiangnan Satellite TV last year. With its high professionalism and fierce competitiveness, it won the season's variety ratings champion. Tian, Super Singer and Fan Mei Lin, who finally won the championship of Super Singer, is now a domestic A-list star and one of the leading Hua Dan of Changtian Entertainment. She just released her first album not long ago. Lu Chan learned about the rules and process of the talent competition of Super Singer in detail and watched many episodes of the first season. He felt that this talent competition was really suitable for him, and it was undoubtedly a shortcut to fame. With so many original works in his hands, he will surely be able to shine in Super Singer. Even if he can't win the championship, with the help of the super high ratings of Super Singer, Lu Chan can also promote himself well, which will be of great help to his future development. The audition for Super Singer will begin on June 20th, that is, the day after tomorrow. He doesn't need to go all the way to Xiangnan to sign up for the competition, because there is a branch venue in Beijing. If it weren't for Jin Hongwei's reminder today, Lu Chan might have missed this opportunity. But after the excitement recalling the process of meeting with the industry's big shot, Lu Chan always felt that something was wrong. It was too simple. Jin Hongwei proposed generous terms and took out the contract that he had prepared. After being rejected on the spot, the other party did not have any intense reaction other than being surprised. He did not even try to persuade Jin Hongwei anymore and left peacefully. This Jin Hongwei didn't seem to be the same as Lu Chen's impression of the godfather of entertainment management. Of course, Lu Chen's impression of him came entirely from the internet. There must be something wrong with him. He did not know him at all. Lu Chan thought about it and felt a little uneasy, so he called Chen Jinhao. Before Chen Jinhao opened the bar, he was also an insider. Perhaps he had dealt with Jin Hongwei before and knew him better. Xiao Lu. Chen Jinhao sounded tired, as if he had just woken up. Why are you looking for me? Lu Chan told him about Jin Hongwei looking for him to sign a contract today. Chen Jinhao listened quietly and then sneered. Xiao Lu, do you know what Jin Hongwei's nickname is in the circle? Lu Chen asked. What nickname? His nickname is Golden Tortoise. Chen Jinhao said slowly. The shell looks beautiful and attractive. If you want to touch him and get some light, you will be bitten by him. He won't let go until he bites off a piece of flesh and blood. Daqin and Sister Na's album was produced in Tianjai Workshop, and you are the songwriter. Jin Hongwei's vision is still very good. He knows that you are alone now. Of course he wants to bite you in his mouth. Lu Chun was cold and speechless, but he could hear that Chen Jinhao was extremely disgusted with this big shot in the industry. Chen Jinhao continued. So it's very right that you don't sign the contract. It's not easy to take advantage of Jin Hongwei. The better the conditions he offers now, the harder he will squeeze you in the future, and there are many means to make you unable to get out. I used to know a young man as talented as you who was signed by Jin Hongwei. Do you know where this young man is now? Without waiting for Lu Chan to ask, Chen Jinhao revealed the answer himself. He is in a drug rehabilitation center, and his whole person has been ruined. Do you know how he got addicted to drugs? This circle is too dark and deep. It's good for you to work alone. Although it may be very hard and tiring, at least you have the freedom of choice. Lu Chen nodded and said, I understand, boss. Thank you for reminding me. Fortunately, he called Chen Jinhao. Otherwise, he really didn't know about Jin Hongwei's dark side, and thought that the other party was very good. This kind of person should be kept at a respectful distance is the best choice. Chen Jinhao seemed to be fully awake and asked, Are you going to participate in the Super Singer? Luchan said. Boss, how do you know? Don't call me boss anymore. It's annoying to hear. Chun Jinhao said with dissatisfaction. You are not a waiter in Forget Worries Bar now. Just call me brother. Luchan said with a smile. Brother Kenho? Chen Jinhao was satisfied and then explained. You are very suitable to participate in the Super Singer competition, but you should know that it doesn't mean that you have talent and ability. You can stand out in such a popular program. The last champion, Fan Mei Lin, signed Changtian Entertainment before participating in the competition, so people will support her. Understand? Luchan said with a wry smile. I understand. His biggest problem is that he is fighting alone, and he can't compare with others with a strong background. There are rules in the entertainment industry. Whether it is the hidden rules or the clear rules, if you want to get more, you have to pay more first. Changtian Entertainment is a partner of Shonan TV and also participates in the production process of Super Singer. Therefore, this entertainment company has a lot of say in Super Singer. Jin Hongwei has a wide network in Shonan TV. Juxing Corporation and Changtian Entertainment have long-term business dealings. It is said that the two sides hold shares in each other. You refuse Jin Hongwei and still want to participate in the Super Singer? Luchan really understood. Then I won't go. Society is too terrible. For the time being, he will honestly make money by live broadcasting and then make an album. No. What Luchan didn't expect was that Chan Jinhao said, I support you to sign up for the audition and bring your best work there. It doesn't matter if you can't pass. On the 25th, Beijing Television's Singing China audition registration. I'll help you get a recommendation letter so that you can directly participate in the live audition. Whether it is Super Singer or other talent shows, the audition process is divided into two parts. The first is the public primary election, that is, the first screening of the registered contestants, and those who are completely unreliable are eliminated. Basically, the first stage is to filter out more than 90% of the contestants, and then the live audition. However, sometimes, in order to achieve the effect of the program, the organizer will deliberately omit some strange contestants to enter the live audition, entertain hundreds of millions of TV viewers, and at the same time hype. If you want to attract attention, don't care too much about integrity. Beijing Television is not as good as Shonan TV, but it's not so complicated, and it's suitable for you to participate. Chun Jinhao finally said, I'd like to see you eliminated by Super Singer. It must be interesting. Ha ha ha. He laughed. Luchan asked, Brother Kenho, do you have a grudge against Jin Hongwei? Chun Jinhao's laughter stopped abruptly. After a long time he said, The young man I just told you, he used to call me boss. I've always regretted that I couldn't stop him from signing to Juxing Corporation at that time. Fortunately, I can persuade you now. Luchan was silent. After ending the call with Chun Jinhao, Luchan thought for a moment. He opened the registration address of Super Singer that he found on the internet and filled out a registration form according to the prompts on the web page. Super Singer supports online registration, and after completion, you can directly participate in the audition preliminary test. On June 20th, when Luchan finished filling out the registration form and confirmed that it was sent, another 2 minutes passed. In a luxury box on the upper floor of the resplendent bar in Sanlitun, Beijing, Jin Hongwei, who was lying on the sofa and tasting red wine, suddenly looked as if he was awakened from deep thought. He put down his glass and took out his cell phone from his pocket. Opening the text message he had just received and reading it, the industry's big shot showed a smug smile. It's like a hunter who sees his prey fall into a trap. Chapter 85. June 20th. Cloudy. Air index good. At 9 a.m., the Capitol Stadium in Beijing was decorated with lanterns and streamers. The registration and preliminary test for the second season of Shonan TV Super Singer in Beijing division were launched at the same time. Hundreds of tents have been set up in the gymnasium. All the tarpaulins have been customized to represent the orange color of Xiangnan Satellite TV. The black and white logo of Super Singer is printed on it, which is particularly eye-catching. Above the surrounding auditorium, huge advertisements are spray-painted everywhere, with the word rich clearly written on it. As the hegemon of domestic satellite TV variety, Shonan TV's advertising revenue is catching up with CTV, and it surpasses the latter in terms of capital utilization. It's really not short of money, but it also dares to come to the capital to set up a stage. When Lu Chun arrived at the capital stadium, there were at least tens of thousands of people gathered inside. Because of worries about traffic jams on the road, Lu Chun came by subway. There were many audition singers like him who were carrying guitars on their backs, and some of them were much younger than him. When he arrived at the stadium, he realized that it was a real sea of people. If it weren't for a large number of staff wearing yellow vests to guide the crowd, Lu Chun wouldn't have been able to find a place to participate in the preliminary test. The on-site registration for Super Singer Beijing Division was only for 1 day, and online registration had already begun. After Lu Chun completed the online registration, he was lucky to be assigned to the first day of the preliminary test. The time for the preliminary test of the audition is 3 days, and after the end of the audition, there will be an official live broadcast of the audition on the 25th. Lu Chun's contestant number is 17,690, which means that more than 10,000 people have signed up before him. In addition to the number of people who signed up in the next few days and on the spot, it is estimated that there are at least 30,000 to 40,000, or even 40,000 to 50,000. This number is quite exaggerated. It should be known that this is only the number of people who signed up for the Beijing division, and Super Singer has higher requirements for the talent contestants. They must be able to sing and write songs, and at least have a certain level of music literacy, otherwise they will be a laughingstock. But on the other hand, only in Beijing can there be such a grand occasion. Because Beijing has gathered countless Beijing drifting singers, plus the 3 major music academies and numerous music training institutions, big and small entertainment and media companies, it's really normal for people to have a lot of people. According to the contestants' number, Lu Chun was assigned to the 19th preliminary contestant. The so-called preliminary test was actually a big tent. The contestants would enter in order to perform. If they passed, they could enter the live auditions on the 25th. If they didn't pass, they would be directly eliminated. Shonen TV was well prepared. Although there were many contestants waiting for their turn, everything was in good order. There was an awning outside the preliminary area, and there were plastic chairs for the contestants to rest on. There was also free mineral water. There were at least 100 or 200 contestants sitting together with Lu Chun. Some of the contestants had even brought their entire families. For example, there was a little girl to the left of Lu Chun. She looked to be about 14 or 15 years old and was dressed like a princess. She was surrounded by her parents and grandparents, serving her like an empress dowager. The little girl was very arrogant, holding a pink guitar in her arms. Probably noticing Lu Chun's gaze, she turned her head and rolled her eyes at Lu Chun big. Her mouth was so pouting that one could hang a milk bottle. Lu Chun couldn't help shaking his head. He stood up and said to the little girl's grandmother, "Old lady, this seat is for you. Take care of yourself." The seats in the waiting area were all for the contestants. There were no relatives or friends. Lu Chun saw that it was really hard for the old lady to stand, so he took the initiative to give his seat to her. The old lady and the little girl's parents, who were surprised, thanked him repeatedly. Lu Chun smiled and stood to the side. What was interesting was that the little girl's eyes suddenly turned red, and large drops of crystal-clear tears fell down, startling everyone in the family. The next moment, she jumped down from her seat, pulled her grandfather and said, "Grandpa, sit." Her grandfather hurriedly waved his hand and said, "Grandpa, sit. Xiaoqi, sit." The little ancestor immediately lost her temper. "If I ask you to sit, then sit. If you don't sit, I'm going home. I don't want to play anymore." Her grandfather had to sit down. The little girl was satisfied. Then she looked at Lu Chun provocatively. Lu Chun smiled and gave her a thumbs up. The little girl didn't buy it. She snorted and turned her head away from him. Time passed little by little. The clouds in the sky dispersed and the sun came out. The hot sun shone in the open-air stadium. The temperature kept rising, and the air was filled with an anxious atmosphere. Lu Chun was a little dizzy from waiting. He drank 2 bottles of mineral water. Contestants 17688 and 17689, please come and get ready. At this time, a staff member came out of the preliminary tent on the 19th and said loudly with a loudspeaker in his hand, "Contestants 17688 and 17689, Please come in and get ready. Immediately, two singers stood up and followed the staff into the big tent. Lu Chun suddenly felt refreshed. After sitting there for more than 2 hours, it was finally his turn. The organizers were still very efficient. As the preliminary tent, there were entrances and exits on the left and right sides. The contestants who lined up here went in, and there were people coming out on the other side. There were also newcomers entering the waiting area outside the venue. The one who just came out was a girl in a white dress. She was crying so hard that even the makeup on her face was ruined. She ran out of the venue regardless. It was estimated that she was ruthlessly eliminated in the first round. The contestants in the waiting area were used to it. There were tens of thousands of people who participated in the preliminary audition, and at least 90% were eliminated in the first round. The competition in this kind of popular talent show was actually very cruel. No matter how much effort they put in at the beginning or how much praise they received, there was still the possibility of being eliminated at any later stage. Shonan TV's talent show had always been very controversial, but it couldn't stop their high ratings. Therefore, as contestants, they had to be mentally prepared to accept failure. In contrast, Lu Chen's mentality was much more relaxed. He was happy to succeed, and it didn't matter if he failed. He mainly came to warm up and familiarize himself with the process and atmosphere of the talent show. If Chun Jinhao's judgment was right, after about 5 minutes, 2 more contestants came out, and then the staff appeared. Contestants 17690 and 17691, please come and get ready. Lu Chun hurriedly walked over with his guitar. It was also a bit of a coincidence that contestant 17691, who was following him, was the arrogant little girl. Her group of relatives and friends wanted to follow in, but they were stopped by the staff. Family members are not allowed to enter. Lu Chun looked back and saw that they were very anxious around the entrance. He said, "You don't have to worry. I will help take care of this little sister. She will be out soon." It was probably because Lu Chen's previous action of giving up his seat made the little girl's family feel good, so they reluctantly felt relieved. The little girl snorted and said, "I don't want you to take care of me. I'm not your little sister." Lu Chun ignored her and looked curiously at the situation in the preliminary area. His current position should be regarded as backstage, but the area was very small. There were 2 singers waiting to go on stage in front of him. Sitting here, he could clearly hear the singing on the stage inside and the judges' comments. When he came in, a contestant had just finished singing. He heard the judge say, "There are 2 passages that are well written and sung. Pass." Another judge said, "Well, I agree." The third judge said, "Pass." It was very fast without any sloppiness. There were 3 judges in the preliminary test and 2 of them passed. The contestants only had a little more than a minute to go on stage, so they couldn't sing longer. If the judges felt that something was wrong, they would be interrupted after a few words and then eliminated. The 2 singers in front of Lu Chun were eliminated. Contestant 17690. Hearing his number, Lu Chun calmly picked up his guitar and walked in. The layout inside was very simple. 3 judges, 2 men and 1 woman, were sitting behind a long table. There was a folding chair in the open space in front of them. There was not even a microphone, but a small digital camera was next to it. As soon as Lu Chun stood still, the female judge said, "Let's begin." She must have said the same words many times, but it sounded weak. Lu Chun bowed slightly as a salute, and then skillfully plucked the strings and began to play. He was playing You Who Sat Next to Me. Chapter 86. Will you remember tomorrow, what you wrote in the diary yesterday? Will you still think about tomorrow once? Stop. An original song, You Who Sat Next to Me. Lu Chun had just sung the first few words when he was interrupted by the female judge. The 30-year-old judge, who was still attractive, said with a smile, "Yes, I'll pass you." She turned to look at the other 2 judges and said, "What do you think?" Both judges nodded and said, "Pass." The female judge smiled at Lu Chun and said, "Congratulations, you can participate in the official audition. Come on." Lu Chun was stunned at first, and then quickly reacted. He bowed and said, "Thank you, 3 teachers." It took him less than half a minute to go on stage and he passed just like that? That's too fast. In fact, Lu Chun underestimated his strength. His strength is not only his original work and singing skills, but also his external conditions. Simply put, it is his appearance. With a height of 180 plus, handsome appearance, and a good and healthy physique, he will not be easily eliminated in the preliminary audition of any popular talent show. The privilege of a handsome man. Therefore, as long as Luchan can play and sing, the three judges will not care about his original work and directly pass him. This is an era of appearance, and Luchan belongs to this era. After he left the stage, a staff member sent him a plastic-sealed color-printed card paper with the logo of Super Singer printed on the front and his new audition number 0580. As for the reverse side of the card, against the background of the blue starry sky, there are two big golden characters, promotion, printed. It's a very beautiful card. Even if you can't pass the next round, it can be collected as a souvenir. Luchan did not rush to leave the big tent, but waited for the little girl behind him to go on stage. The little girl 17,691 performed very well and played the guitar well, so she quickly got the promotion card. When she came down and saw Luchan, she raised her round little chin proudly. Luchan laughed involuntarily and accompanied her out of the preliminary testing area. The little girl's family had been waiting outside for a long time. When they saw her proudly waving the promotion card in her hand, they all cried out in excitement, wishing that they could immediately announce it to the world with great fanfare. Luchan thought it was quite interesting. He silently gave his blessing and then left the stadium. That night he received a call from Changjinhao. The other party simply inquired about Lu Chen's process of participating in the preliminary audition during the day and his advancement number, but did not say anything else. Lu Chen felt that his former boss seemed to be hiding something or planning something. However, everyone had their own privacy, and there was no need for him to delve into it. 5 days were neither short nor long. Time flew by in the midst of the busy work. June 25th, sunny. Super Singer official audition. The location of the official audition was still in the Capital Grand Stadium, but it was moved from the open-air football field to the indoor basketball court. The scale has been reduced a lot, but the specifications have been improved a lot. After the elimination of the preliminary audition, although the singers who advanced to the official audition were less than 1 in 10, they could not all be selected in just 1 or 2 days. Lu Chen's luck was still there, and he was still arranged on the first day. The basketball court was divided into 2 by the organizers, forming 2 live audition stages in the north and south. Many staff members wearing Shonan TV uniforms were busy, and more than 10 cameras were set up inside and outside. It was said to be a live broadcast, but in fact it was a recorded broadcast. The audition process would be broadcast on the internet and TV after post-editing. The content of the live broadcast was also available, but it was all live interviews and the like. Therefore, most of the audition contestants will not appear on the screen unless they advance to the first round of the official competition. The contestants sat in the auditorium of the basketball court according to their respective promotion number, and they still entered by calling the number. Lu Chen estimated that there were about 300 or 400 competitors on the first day. Then it was a long wait. Many contestants are very experienced. They gathered together in 2s and 3s, chatted about music, encouraged each other to relax, and practiced playing and singing repeatedly on the spot, but most of them only practiced in fragments. At noon, the staff delivered lunchboxes. Although it was only fast food, the content was quite rich. Beef, shrimp, eggs, and fresh vegetables were by no means the kind of cheap goods that cost 10 or 20 yuan. The taste was quite good. Lu Chen didn't eat until he was half full. It wasn't that he wasted food, but that it was not good for singing when he was full. At about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Lu Chen finally heard the staff calling his number. 0580. Under the guidance of the staff, he quickly came to the preparatory backstage, and after another 2 minutes, he officially appeared. The number of judges for the official audition increased to 4. 2 men and 2 women were not unknown people. Lu Chen recognized at least 2 of them. He had a little impression of the names of the other 2, but he was not familiar with them. The layout of the venue was very luxurious. There were 4 cameras in the front, back, left, and right. In addition to the 4 judges, there were as many as 7 or 8 staff members on the scene. Even if there was no audience, the atmosphere was completely different from the preliminary. In the face of the 4 cameras and the 4 judges, Lu Chen did not have stage fright. He said calmly. Hello judges and teachers. I am contestant 0580 Lu Chan from Zhejiang. Even if he had not eaten pork, he had seen pigs running. Lu Chan had watched a lot of talent shows on the internet in the past few days. He already had a good understanding of the audition, so he introduced himself properly after he went on stage. Today I will bring you this song called You Who Sat Next to Me. Please give me some pointers. A female judge smiled and said, Then let's get started. You have 2 minutes to sing well. Lu Chen knew this judge. She was Lu Ya, a well-known female singer in China. She was good at singing love songs. She should be in her 30s or 40s this year, but she looked more like a person in her 20s, full of mature and beautiful charm. Lu Chen nodded and began to play and sing with the guitar in his arms. Tomorrow, will you remember that you wrote in the diary yesterday? Beep. After playing a simple prelude, he had just opened his mouth to sing 2 lines when a harsh chirp suddenly sounded. A striking red light lit up in front of one of the judges' table. According to the rules of the audition, this meant that the judge did not approve of Lu Chen's singing and would not advance to the next round. Lu Ya looked at the other party in surprise. This judge was Zhang Xiaoan, a variety show host of Shonan TV. He was very famous in the industry. It was somewhat unusual for him to reject Lu Chen so quickly. Lu Chen had no problem in playing the guitar. In fact, he was quite skilled and excellent. The melody of the work was also quite good. Why was the red light lit up after only 2 lines? Zhang Xiaoan was expressionless, as if he did not notice Lu Ya's gaze at all. Lu Chen raised his eyebrows. It would be a lie to say that he was not affected by the red light that suddenly lit up. However, he was not a newcomer after all, so he continued to play and sing smoothly. Tomorrow, will you still remember that you used to love to cry the most? Beep. The second red light lit up. This time it was another female judge, Jenny Chan, who had returned to China from overseas in recent years. She was a female singer and musician who had returned to China from overseas in recent years. She was currently very popular in the pop music industry. She didn't seem to like the style of Lu Chen's work. She frowned and looked very impatient. According to the rules, if 3 red lights were lit up among the 4 judges, the contestant would be directly eliminated. Lu Chen, who had been lit up with 2 red lights, was completely calm. He played and sang half of the song, You Who Sat Next to Me. Thank you. He bowed to the judges with his guitar in his arms. Even if there were 2 red lights in front, Lu Chen's interpretation of the song was still perfect, without any shortcomings. Zhang Xiaoan said lightly, The style is too old and the melody is also average. I have to continue to work hard. Jenny Chang commented, You played the guitar well, but we chose the best singer, so I can only say sorry. I hope you will work hard next time. The implication was that Lu Chen's song was not good. Lu Ya smiled and said, Lu Chen, I think your work is very good. Beep. Before she finished speaking, the 4th judge sitting on the far left pressed the red light. 3 red lights out. Chapter 87. Lu Ya's beautiful eyes flashed with a trace of anger that was almost undetectable. She had been in the industry for more than 10 years. Although she was not among the top stars in the circle, she used to be a first-line singer. Even if she was a little outdated now, when had she been interrupted so rudely before she finished speaking? The judge who interrupted her was called Zhuang Hao, an editor and music critic of the fashion magazine Beauty. In terms of fame in the circle, Lu Ya was at least 3 streets ahead of him. However, Lu Ya did not directly express her anger, because when Jenny Chan flashed the red light, she felt that something was wrong. It seemed that the contestant named Lu Chan was deliberately targeted. Having been in the entertainment circle for so many years, Lu Ya had always been clean. At the same time, she was also very clear about how deep the water in this circle was. She had seen a lot of darkness and filth hidden under the bright and beautiful appearance. So she instinctively kept silent. Those who cried out for injustice could not stand in this circle. Zhuang Hao did not look at Lu Ya, but just stared at Lu Chen and said, I agree with Zhang Xiaoan's opinion. The style of your song is too old-fashioned, and the melody is familiar. It lacks enough originality and is too amateur, so it cannot be passed. His voice was very calm, dry as if he was narrating a boring report, but there was a faint disdain and ridicule in his words. which made people feel embarrassed and embarrassed. However, to the 4 judges' surprise, including Lu Chan was neither embarrassed nor angry after listening to it, nor did he defend or protest, or beg for another chance like many young singers who were eliminated. He nodded and said politely, "Thank you for your comments, for judges." What a pity! There was a trace of pity in Luya's heart. In her opinion, Lu Chan was very good and should not be suppressed. That's right, the word suppressed was almost written on Zhuang Hao's face. She had no idea who Lu Chan had offended. The next moment Lu Chan straightened up, looked straight at Zhuang Hao and said, "But I don't agree with your opinion, Mr. Zhuang Hao. This song of mine has been registered in the Greater China Music Library long ago. There is no plagiarism or imitation. Besides, someone offered 100,000 yuan to buy it." He smiled confidently. "But I didn't sell it." What was face-slapping? This was face-slapping right in front of their faces. Didn't Zhuang Hao comment on you who sat next to me as having a familiar melody and lack of originality? Then Lu Chan told him that this song was registered in the Greater China Music Library. Are you more authoritative than the Greater China Music Library? It was also true that someone offered 100,000 yuan for it. Of course, Lu Chan did not sell it. He kept this classic for himself. Too old-fashioned and amateurish? Is the person who paid for it an idiot? Zhuang Hao's face turned red in an instant. This is not the first time that Zhuang Hao has served as a judge of Super Singer. He is used to evaluating the contestants from a high position. Although he has seen many unruly guys, it is the first time that he has been slapped in the face in such a targeted manner. No matter how thick his face is, he can't withstand a heavy slap. In addition to Zhuang Hao, Zhang Xiaoan and Jenny Chan also felt that their face had been peeled off by Lu Chan. Lu Chan didn't give them a chance to fight back. He nodded to Luya, and then left the stage freely. Among the 4 judges, he only had a little affection for Luya. Snap! Zhuang Hao slammed the pen in his hand on the table and scolded angrily. Young people nowadays are getting more and more impolite and not modest at all. It's no wonder that the atmosphere in the pop music world is getting worse and worse. What the hell? Zhang Xiaoan said with a sullen face. Yes, so we should be stricter. Those with bad conduct should be eliminated. Otherwise, Shonan TV will lose face in front of the whole country. Jenny Chan picked up her notebook as a fan and fanned herself hard. She sneered. With such a temper, it's no wonder that someone wants to teach him a lesson. He really doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. He will cry in the future. Zhuang Hao and Zhang Xiaoan turned their heads to look at her at the same time, with a strange look. How can such a thing be said? Luya suddenly understood and was not surprised. Jenny Chan didn't care about their strange looks. So what if there were 4 cameras on the scene? This video is 100% going to be cut, and no one will care about a little new singer. The audition of Super Producer continued. Lu Chan walked out of the Capital Stadium. The afternoon sun shone on his face, which was still hot. He took a long breath and exhaled resentment. Although such a result was expected by Lu Chan, he did not have a trace of fantasy in his heart. Maybe Chen Jinhao was biased against Jin Hongwei, and thus lost his accurate judgment? And the bloody reality taught him a lesson. Don't think you're so great. In the eyes of some people, you're just a chess piece that can be manipulated at will. Lu Chan couldn't help clenching his fists. He became more and more determined to take the path he wanted to take. His cell phone rang. Lu Chan picked it up. Lu Chan, I just heard a sad news. You didn't pass the audition of Super Singer ? Jin Hongwei's voice came from the other side of the phone, and his tone was very regretful. Lu Chan said, Yes, thank you for your concern, Mr. Jin. When he answered, there was a smile on his face, a sarcastic smile sure enough. Jin Hongwei couldn't see Lu Chan's look and continued. It doesn't matter. It's not terrible for young people to fail once. The door of our Jushin Corporation is always open for you. We can provide you with a direct ticket to advance to the knockout stage. In addition, I have arranged a dinner party in the evening. Invite the 2 judges to come over and sit down. You can apologize to them. I think. Beep. Beep. Before he finished speaking, the call was cut off. Jin Hongwei was stunned and quickly dialed Lu Chen's cell phone number again. The answer he got was, Dear user, the cell phone you dialed is not in the service area. Shit. Jin Hongwei finally understood. and in a fit of rage he threw his phone away. This notification meant that Lu Chan had blacklisted his number and didn't want to talk to him anymore. In other words, Jin Hongwei's efforts to stir up trouble were all in vain. Lu Chan didn't buy it at all. Jin Hongwei had never met such a rookie who did not know how to appreciate favors and was unmoved by force or persuasion. His lungs were about to explode from anger, and Lu Chan didn't care what the other person's reaction was. As the saying goes, one can be strong without desire. He didn't want anything from Jin Hongwei. If he had to swallow the humiliation and bow his head after being schemed against, he might as well buy a piece of tofu and kill himself. Get out of here. After blacklisting Jin Hongwei's number, Lu Chan felt refreshed and his mind was clear. But after 3 seconds his phone rang again. This time it was Chun Jinhao who called. This made Lu Chan suspect that he and Jin Hongwei had discussed it. Of course this was a joke. Lu Chan immediately picked up. Brother Kenho? Chun Jinhao laughed and said, Was Jin Hongwei calling you just now? Lu Chan was surprised. How did you know? Chun Jinhao sneered and said, With his character I can guess what he said to you. Did he want you to sign a contract with Jushin Corporation and guarantee that you can be promoted to the strongest producer? Did he want you to apologize to the judges? Lu Chan was completely speechless. Chun Jinhao was right. Chun Jinhao, ha ha ha. You're really good. You haven't even mixed into the entertainment industry, but you've already offended a few people in the circle. I heard that Zhuang Hao's face was almost swollen by you, and he scolded you. Lu Chan said with a wry smile, I was impulsive. What's impulsive? Chun Jinhao said with a smile. You played very well. That grandson just needs a beating. Anyway, you don't have to worry about this anymore. Concentrate on preparing for the live audition of Singing China on July 3rd and the qualifying round on July 10th. Chun Jinhao asked Lu Chan for a direct audition card for Beijing Television's Singing China, so he didn't need to participate in the preliminary audition held in the Capital Workers' Stadium today, and directly entered the official audition. Chun Jinhao also believed that Lu Chan could easily pass the audition and advance to the qualifying round. But you have to remember what happened today. This is your first lesson in the entertainment industry. I think you should have learned a lot. Work hard, young man. Chapter 88. The long subway rumbled as it sped along the track. Lu Chan held the guitar in the guitar case and sat near the door. During non-rush hours, the subway in Beijing was not crowded, so there were still a lot of empty seats. He didn't have to worry about being squeezed out of his shoes, nor did he have to worry about getting pregnant. He accidentally raised his head and saw a girl on the opposite right side pointing her mobile phone at him. Lu Chan smiled at her and knew that the other party was taking pictures. Seeing that her behavior of secretly taking pictures was discovered by Lu Chan, the girl's face suddenly became flushed. She quickly put away her mobile phone, turned her head, and pretended to talk to her companion. And her companion whispered to her with a smile, urging her to ask Lu Chan for his contact information. But the girl was shy and didn't dare. Lu Chan's mood couldn't help but be a lot more cheerful. Today he had just been taught a life lesson. Even if he was open-minded and optimistic, he couldn't help but feel a little depressed. At this time the mobile phone in his pocket vibrated. Lu Chan took out his mobile phone and opened it. It was Yizi who sent him a message. Are you there? A pretty face suddenly appeared in Lu Chan's mind. His heart moved and he replied, Yes. Yizi was Yi Zitong. After buying the computer, the two didn't see each other again. They only chatted a few times on QQ and Feixin. Lu Chan could feel that Yi Zitong had a good impression of him, but the relationship between the two was a little faint. He knew that Yi Zitong was a good girl, and it was because of this that he didn't deliberately take the initiative to pursue anything. Although Lu Chan has not yet reached such a state, perhaps because he has experienced lovelorn and bitter love, and experienced 3 long lives in his dream, his attitude towards feelings is to let nature take its course. Not demanding, not forcing, not greedy. However, at this time, the message sent by Yi Zitong inadvertently touched his heartstrings. Yi Zitong, are you free tonight? There's a new skating rink near our school. I heard it's quite fun. Lu Chan quickly replied, Then let's go together tonight. I haven't skated in a long time. I'll come over to find you at 5 o'clock and invite you to have dinner together. How about that? Yi Zitong. Seeing that you are so sincere, I will reluctantly agree. Big smiley face symbol was added at the back. See you at 5. Lu Chan couldn't help but smile, and the knot in his heart completely disappeared without a trace. The girl had already taken the initiative to ask him out, and it was a girl that he had a good impression of. If he still pretended to be reserved, then he would simply be a fool. Just as he put away his phone, he arrived at his destination. He picked up his guitar and left. The girl sitting across from him didn't ask for his contact information. Back home, Lu Chun first stored his guitar, then calculated the time to go to Beijing Normal University to keep the appointment. At 5 o'clock, Lu Chun arrived at the gate of Beijing Normal University. In summer, the days were long and the nights were short. At 5 o'clock in the evening, the sky was still very bright. There were many students going in and out of the gate of Beijing Normal University, and there were also many boys waiting at the gate like Lu Chan. Some of them were even holding delicate roses in their hands. Looking at his empty hands, Lu Chan was very ashamed. Just as he was hesitating whether to go to a nearby flower shop to buy a flower, Yi Zitong gracefully came out of the campus. This beautiful girl was still wearing her favorite white dress, revealing her pink neck, jade arms, and a pair of white and well-proportioned calves. She obviously dressed herself up carefully and put on some light makeup. Her bright eyes and white teeth were even more attractive. When she appeared in front of Lu Chan couldn't help but feel amazed and a little stunned. Under his gaze, Yi Zitong's pretty face showed a touch of shyness and she asked, "What's wrong?" Lu Chan came to his senses and quickly said, "Let's go." Yi Zitong nodded gently. The two of them walked together. The man was tall and handsome, and the woman was beautiful and gentle. Along the way they instantly caused tons of damage to the single people nearby. In the wind, a man's desperate cry came faintly. "What the F***ck, the campus bell has been taken away." Lu Chan couldn't help but ask, "Won't Zhuoxintian go?" He thought that it would be Yi Zitong and Zhuoxintian together that night. The result was a surprise. Yi Zitong tilted her head, reached out to lift a few loose black hair and asked, "Do you want her to be there?" How could Lu Chan be stupid at this time? He said with a smile, "Of course not. I just want to save some money." Yi Zitong lowered her head, and a faint smile appeared on her lips. They had dinner at a nearby Western restaurant. Because Lu Chan was not very familiar with the surroundings of the university town, Yi Zitong chose the buffet by herself. She used her mobile phone to order a group purchase on the internet, and it only cost 98 yuan per person. The environment and dishes were very good. After dinner, they went out for a walk along the artificial lake, and arrived at the skating rink at 7 o'clock. The skating rink had just opened, and the decoration was quite magnificent, and it was a real ice rink. It was just after 7 o'clock, and the business here was very hot. Lu Chan queued for more than 10 minutes before he got 2 pairs of skates and a new down jacket. The down jacket was rented to Yi Zitong. It was very cold in the real ice rink, and she couldn't stand it in a skirt. In order to rent new clothes that no one had worn before, Lu Chan also secretly gave some tips to the staff. "Try to see if it fits. If it doesn't, I'll change it." At the entrance to the ice rink, he helped Yi Zitong put on the skates and asked, "Have you skated before?" Yi Zitong was a little shy, but she still accepted Lu Chen's help generously. "I skated on roller skates. The skates were just right, not too big or too small." "Then there's no problem," Lu Chan said with a smile. "It's easy to skate on real ice after skating on roller skates. Just pay attention to your balance and practice more." He reached out to Yi Zitong. "I'll take you there and you can get used to it first." Yi Zitong hesitated for a moment, but she still put her white, jade-like hand in Lu Chen's hand. Holding her smooth hand, Lu Chan was a little absent-minded. There was also a skating rink in Hangzhou, but it was not as big as the one in the capital. When Lu Chan was a freshman and sophomore, he often went there to skate and mastered a lot of amateur moves. But at that time he was holding another girl's hand. Now the scene was the same, but things were still the same, but the people had changed. What's wrong? Yi Zitong's mind was very delicate. She noticed that Lu Chen's expression was a little strange, so she couldn't help but ask. Lu Chen came to his senses and quickly said with a smile, "Nothing. I'm just thinking about how to play with you." He secretly reminded himself that he had been absent-minded several times today. Yi Zitong smiled and said, "Don't bother. We can play slowly. I'm a little afraid of falling. It's very painful." "Then you hold my hand tightly." Lu Chun smiled and pulled Yi Zitong up. He took her to skate from the outside to the infield. In order to take care of his female companion, he skated very slowly at the beginning, so that Yi Zitong could adapt to the skates with skates. There was still a big difference between real skates and roller skates, but Yi Zitong's balance was very good. Under the leadership of Lu Chun, she was soon able to skate by herself, although she still had to be careful. The indoor skating rink was very large, at least 700 to 800 square meters. The lights on the high dome were all turned on, and the bright lights illuminated the entire venue. There were a lot of people who had already skated. Most of them were young men and women like Lu Chun and Yi Zitong. They were wearing colorful ski jackets and chasing each other along the ice track under the accompaniment of passionate music. There were also a lot of people in the stands around. They were cheering and booing, making the entire ice rink very lively. The chilly air was filled with joyful laughter and the scent of youthful hormones. Lu Chun led Yi Zitong to avoid the mainstream crowd. They skated on the edge of the outer track and gradually sped up. Yi Zitong tightly held Lu Chun's hand. She was a little nervous but more excited. "Don't go too fast," she said loudly and then giggled. Her laughter was as clear as a silver bell, and the sound seeped into Lu Chun's heart. Lu Chun suddenly felt that life was so beautiful. There were always surprises. Chapter 89. On July 3rd, Lu Chun successfully passed the official audition of Singing China and advanced to the qualifying round. Singing China is the first reality talent show launched by Beijing Television. Its theme is Walking and Singing China. It is jointly organized by Beijing Television in conjunction with Wuxia, NetEase Music and Tianya Culture, so it has attracted wide attention in China. Singing China is divided into 7 major singing areas: Beijing, Shangjing, Huhai, Hangzhou, Tianfu, Huaqing and Bihai. It uses a unique touring PK method to decide the final champion, with a total prize amount of more than 30 million. Since 2008, the domestic variety industry has been surging, and Supergirl, represented by Shonan TV, has set off the craze of reality talent shows and has achieved great success. Many satellite TV stations have begun to follow suit, and similar variety shows have emerged one after another, forming a pattern of strong coexistence. Over the years, the competition between them has been very fierce. Originally, Beijing Television has always been a bystander in this competition, giving people a very reserved feeling. But in the face of huge interests, any reservation is doomed not to last long. Therefore, at the advent of this summer vacation, Beijing Television launched Singing China, which has been brewing for a long time, with its strong background and resources as support, sounded the horn of entering the variety stage. Beijing Satellite TV's 3 major partners, Wuxia Network, NetEase Music and Tianya Culture, are all the best in the domestic industry. It is based in the big capital circle, so it dares to confront Xiangnan Satellite TV's Super Singer head-on. The timing of the audition chosen by Beijing Television is very coincidental, just after Shonan TV's Super Singer, so that a large number of eliminated talent contestants can turn to the Singing China camp, and the latter's requirements are obviously much broader than the former, and people with good songs have a chance to qualify for promotion. And in Beijing there is no shortage of talents in this area. During the official audition, Lu Chun didn't even take out his original works. He easily got the promotion card with the self-played and sung song, Flying Pigeon. Let me tell you a piece of good news. I will participate in the Singing China talent competition on the 10th of this month. Welcome to the live broadcast and please support us. When Lu Chun announced the news to hundreds of thousands of online fish fans in the live broadcast on Whale TV, the entire live broadcast room was boiling. The barrage was like a long river bursting its dike, mightily flooding the screen. Long live the host. Waha, we can actually see our Lu Feda on TV. I support you. Come on. Work hard. Congratulations to the host. I hope the host can win the championship. The people of Beijing send their congratulations. Lu Feda is invincible and stands at the top. Congratulations from the people of Xiangnan. The people of Zhejiang send their congratulations. Congratulations from the people of the deep sea. The people of the island. Along with the barrage, there were countless fishballs and aircraft carriers. In fact, a long time ago, there were fish fans who hoped that Lu Chan would participate in the talent show. Everyone thought that with his talent, he should not succumb to the live broadcast on the internet, but should become a real star on a bigger and broader stage. Although the current live broadcast on the internet is very popular, and the income of a popular online anchor is no worse than that of a third or fourth-rate star, but in people's habitual impression, the influence of the two is still incomparable. Now that Lu Chan has finally taken this step, most people are happy and wish him well. In the eyes of these fish fans, Lu Chan is a figure supported by everyone. If he can make a name for himself in the talent show on TV, it would be wonderful. If Lu Chan becomes popular and becomes a big star in the future, then they can proudly say to others that they have chatted with this big star, fought together, and worked hard together. Congratulations, boss. After the live broadcast, Li Bai sent a private message to Lu Chan through QQ. I won't say anything else. Let's see our Lu Jiejun's performance at that time. I promise I won't let you down. Any reality talent show can't ignore the audience outside the venue. Whether it's SMS voting, online voting, or telephone voting, the influence of the audience outside the venue has always been the most important. Even if there is insider manipulation, the data on the surface has always been the largest proportion of the audience's fan votes. This is precisely where Lu Chen's advantage lies. At present, the number of followers in Lu Fei's live broadcast room is close to 1 million, and Lu Jiejun has more than 50,000 members in the QQ group. Once it is fully mobilized, it will undoubtedly be a strong support force. Lu Chan is not the only one who has moved from the live broadcast room to the pan-entertainment industry. There have been successful examples in the past. Thank you, Lu Chan replied, and at the same time he selected a file saved on the hard disk and sent it to him. Li Bai. ? Lu Chan. A small gift for you. I hope you will like it. Li Bai laughed. Boss, is it a selfie video of you? I'll make it clear first, I'm a straight man. Lu Chan. Li Bai received it. After a full 5 minutes, Li Bai asked, Boss, is this for me? Even through the screen, Lu Chan could feel the other party's surprise. He smiled and quickly typed on the keyboard. Yes, this song is my gift to you. I didn't register it in the Greater China Music Library. You completed it yourself and it belongs to your name. The person Lu Chan has always been most grateful to is this friend he has never met, his #1 fan. In the beginning stage of Lu Chen's broadcasting career, if it wasn't for Li Bai's unstinting support, he would not have been able to achieve what he has today and earn so much money through live broadcasting. Li Bai himself has given him more than 200,000 yuan. Lu Jiejun's fan club has always been managed by him, and God knows how many red packets have been given out. Receiving a drop of water from others, one must repay it with a spring. Lu Chan has always been a person who distinguishes between kindness and hatred. He is very grateful for Li Bai's support, but he does not know how to repay it. This local tycoon is a typical rich second generation. According to him and Lu Chan, his daily life is nothing but spending money. Even his father does not expect him to have any career. As long as he does not cause trouble and completes the mission of carrying on the family line in the future, everything will be fine. And through normal communication, Lu Chan also knows that Li Bai likes music very much. He once formed a band and once had the dream of becoming a singer, but unfortunately, he does not have much talent. At most, he can only go to bars to entertain himself. That is why he is so supportive of Lu Chan. After understanding this, Lu Chan has an idea. He carefully picked a song and gave it to Li Bai as a gift. Lu Chan believes that this is the most suitable gift. Li Bai was silent and did not respond for a long time. Lu Chan thought that he disconnected and could not help but ask, "Are you there?" Li Bai replied, "Yes, thank you, boss." Lu Chan put on a smile and said, "I should be the one thanking you. Find someone to help arrange this song, preferably someone who is good at country rock style, and release a single." After a few more minutes, Li Bai replied, "Okay." Lu Chan felt a little strange, but he did not care. After saying goodbye to him, he went offline to rest. At the same time, Beijing's 2nd Ring Road, Pinggan District, A7 Villa. In the study room on the 3rd floor of the villa, the light was still on. A young man in his 20s was sitting in front of the computer with a blank look in his eyes. No one knew what he was thinking. What was displayed on the screen was the score of a song. After a moment, as if awakened from a dream, he suddenly jumped up and grabbed the phone on the desk. Skillfully dialing the number, the young man anxiously walked back and forth in the study room. After waiting for a few seconds, the other side connected. "Hello," the young man shouted impatiently. "Hello my ass, I am Li Mubai. Hurry up and find me an arranger. I want the best, must be good at country rock style. It doesn't matter how much money it costs. I have a song to accompany." "Very late? What's so late now? The nightlife hasn't even started yet. Which of those people goes to bed so early? Remember, I must have the best. I want to reorganize the band." After the call, the young man sat back in the chair and let out a long breath. He blinked and suddenly felt a little strange. He subconsciously reached out and wiped the corner of his eyes. His fingertips were stained with some moisture. The young man was stunned and immediately cursed. "Motherf asterisk cur." His voice was very soft. Chapter 90. At 8 p.m. on July 5th, the China Music Chart for the first week of July was refreshed on time. China Music Chart, or Original Music Chart for short, was jointly created by the China Musicians Association in conjunction with dozens of media such as QQ Music, NetEase Music, Pop Radio, etc. With its professional music attitude, strict review system and credible data collection, it has become a highly authoritative pop music chart in China. The Original Music Chart is published every weekend, ranking the top 50 domestic pop songs according to the Popularity Index. The chart index is based on data provided by major music media, including broadcast, download, on-demand, purchase and other values, converted according to a fixed formula. Although there is the possibility of artificial manipulation of the data of websites and media, the huge amount of data and multi-point collection methods, coupled with the existence of official power, basically ensure the fairness and impartiality of the Original Music Chart. Therefore, compared with the various lists launched by different media, the China Music Chart is undoubtedly more recognized by hundreds of millions of listeners and is regarded as the number one in the pop music chart. The Original Music Chart for the first week of July has not changed much from last week. The biggest highlight is the rapid rise of a band called Wandering in the chart. This week, a total of 3 songs were on the chart at the same time. The Bionics' Reason to Be Strong / Popularity Index 2044 ranked 47th this week. The Bionics' I Want to Have a Home / Popularity Index 3505 ranked 29th this week. The Bionics' In the Spring / Popularity Index 5780 ranked 17th this week. For the majority of music fans, the Original Music Chart is the best basis to search for songs. Except for the fans of those singers, most people don't care much about the data ranking itself. They all follow the trend and listen to whatever songs are good. However, the newly released Original Music Chart, in the eyes of people in the circle, can see a lot of things. First of all, the stunning appearance of the Bionics, as a previously unknown band that not many people have heard of, has 3 works on the Original Music Chart at the same time, which is undoubtedly a sign of popularity. In fact, last week the Bionics' In the Spring was already on the chart, ranked 43rd. This week it jumped to 17th. The momentum of the increase was amazing, and it also showed strong potential. Moreover, the song's evaluation was very good, with 97.26% of likes. The people in the industry also noticed a detail that ordinary listeners would not pay much attention to. The 3 songs of the Bionics were all written by the same unknown author. A Reason to Be Strong lyrics / music, Lu Chun. I Want to Have a Home lyrics / music, Lu Chun. In the Spring lyrics / composer, Lu Chun. Today, when the power of domestic original works was in decline, the sudden appearance of such a talented songwriter made many people in the circle use their connections to inquire about him. Who was Lu Chun? Therefore, the China Music Chart in the first week of July not only made the Bionics famous, but also made Lu Chun's name shine for the first time in the circle he was about to enter. Regrettably, Lu Chun didn't know this for the time being. In the afternoon of the same day, he rushed to the Blue Sky Creative Park area in Beijing's 5th Ring Road. The Blue Sky Creative Park area was established 5 years ago. It was specially established by the capital government to support innovative and creative small enterprises. Its policies are open-minded and efficient, especially for young entrepreneurs in the capital circle. Therefore, it has attracted a large number of small enterprises and companies to settle in. Take subway line 9 and get off at the Blue Sky Park station. When you come out, you can see the main gate of the park. Wang Changsheng was already waiting for him at the exit. Lu Chun was a little surprised. He didn't expect that the other party would be waiting for him here. It was really unexpected. Lu Chun met this middle-aged man in the Delong building of Tianjai Workshop last time. At that time, the other party solicited album production business from him, which left a deep impression on Lu Chun and a business card. Lu Chun didn't want to hand over his first album to this unknown Nirvana studio to produce. His first cooperation partner was the well-known Tianjai Workshop in the industry. Lu Chun has heard the mini-album produced by Tianjai Workshop for the Bionics, which is very good. But the appearance of Juxing Corporation's Jin Hongwei made him change his mind. Jin Hongwei is a director of Tianjai Workshop and holds shares in this music production unit, and Lu Chun has completely fallen out with the other party. How could he put his album in Tianjai Workshop? So Lu Chun found Wang Changsheng's business card. Of course, without knowing the details of the other party, Lu Chun can't rashly throw the whole album over. There was an opportunity in front of him, so he took the initiative to contact Wang Changsheng and came directly. The manager of Nirvana Studio should have been waiting at the subway entrance for a long time. "Hello, Mr. Lu." Seeing Lu Chun, Wang Changsheng immediately showed a surprised expression and stepped forward to him and extended his hands. "Manager Wang, we meet again." Lu Chun smiled and shook hands with him and said, "Please come and pick me up. In fact, I can go by myself." Wang Changsheng explained, "Blue Sky Park is very big. This is your first time here. I'm worried that you won't be able to find the place." Lu Chun was relieved. "Then let's go." Because it has not been established for a long time, the buildings in Blue Sky Creative Park are still very new. Many of the green trees on both sides of the sidewalk are newly transplanted. Most of the people in a hurry on the road are young people. Perhaps it is because of this that the feeling here is full of vitality and vitality. Even the shops and restaurants along the street look different, and the design of the signboards is very unique. On the way to the studio, Lu Chun and Wang Changsheng talked. Through the dialogue, he learned that Wang Changsheng was originally a music teacher in middle school. Last year, he resigned from his teaching position and took out his life savings to start this Nirvana studio. For a middle-aged man in his 50s, Wang Changsheng's courage amazed Lu Chun. It should be known that at the age of knowing destiny, not many people are willing to run out to start a business when they have a stable and comfortable job, especially when they have to take out their old capital. For Lu Chun's admiration, Wang Changsheng said with a wry smile, "In fact, I have no choice for my children." It turned out that Wang Changsheng has 2 children. His daughter graduated from the composition department of the Beijing Conservatory of Music 2 years ago, and his son graduated from the music engineering department of the Northern Conservatory of Music last year. It was for them that he started this studio. A musical family. Lu Chun couldn't help but be in awe. Zhongyin, Beijing and Beiying are the 3 major conservatories of music in the capital. They are famous both at home and abroad and enjoy a high reputation internationally. They are loved by thousands of music students. The number of applicants every year often reaches hundreds of thousands, but only a few tenths of them can really be admitted by the 3 major conservatories of music. Wang Changsheng's daughter graduated from Beijing Conservatory of Music, and his son graduated from Beiying. As a music teacher, he must have devoted countless efforts to the training of his children. How can such a person not be respected? He is completely different from that kind of shrewd businessman. However, Lu Chun can see that the operating situation of Nirvana Studio is probably not ideal. Of course, he won't break this point because it's better to be kind. Nirvana Studio is located on the 7th floor of an office building in the park. The location is not very good, but the rent is estimated to be cheap. Take the elevator up, turn left out of the elevator, and see the logo and guide marks of the studio on the wall. Wang Changsheng was very embarrassed. "Our studio has just been set up, so the place is not big. A standard music production unit, including office area, electronic room, reception room and the most important recording studio, will not be too small, otherwise, it will not be able to play at all." Purely from the perspective of scale, Nirvana Studio is undoubtedly disappointing. The narrow office area is adjacent to the even narrower reception room. The cramped and limited space makes people feel depressed. There are only 2 employees inside, and there is not even a receptionist at the door. Wang Chongsheng asked Lu Chan to sit down on the sofa, personally poured tea for him and explained, "I just took an order yesterday. They are all busy in the recording studio. I'll let Wang Jing talk to you." Wang Jing is Wang Chongsheng's daughter and another person in charge of Nirvana Studio. She was the one who arranged the music,